Welcome back, baby. Welcome back to Panel Focus, another episode of Shonen Pulse. This is episode 53, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, episode 53. I probably should have checked that before I started the recording, but episode 53, it's your boy Knox. I'm here with Traffy.
What's good?
We don't have any Yato today because of a scheduling situation where we had to record a day later because of me. But Yato will be on the next episode. So until then, it is me and Traff, the Just Us League. Before we get into things, of course, we want to remind you to hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, hit the subscribe button, press all the buttons, and make sure that you show support for the channel and the show so that we can continue to grow and continue to do what we do every week here on YouTube for you and us. And yeah, we also have memberships going, I believe still, and we have a Patreon as well. If you want to show some extra support, you can click those links down in the description section as well. And don't forget to hype the video, because the hype feature is great and it helps us reach a lot more people that might care about what we're talking about over here on Panel Focus. But with all that said and done, sorry, my intro is probably rusty. It's been a long time since I've done one. Usually Yato does that, but I hope I did what I needed to do. We're gonna jump into Chainsaw Man chapter 230, Sex and Selection. Traffy, how are we feeling about this chapter of Chainsaw Man?
This chapter genuinely interested me, which, for our normal listeners, me being interested in Chainsaw Man hasn't been very... It hasn't happened a lot lately, but this chapter in itself, I think, was really good. And it kind of broke the main issue that I've had with Chainsaw Man for a while, which is, Denji on his own and Asa on her own. The story feels like it's progressing, it's going somewhere. It feels good to read, but when they come together, usually it feels a tad bit weaker. But this chapter, even with them together, it was really strong, and, it set it up to a point where I was like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next chapter. And, you have some general ideas of where it could go, theories and whatnot, which is something I didn't really have to say for the last few chapters.
Yeah. Why was everybody talking shit about this chapter or the last couple of chapters? I saw people on Twitter like, all right, man, we're done trusting the process. And like, this shit is garbage, and everyone who said just wait and let Fujimoto cook is an idiot or something like that. I saw people talking crazy about Chainsaw Man. Is it just because he still wants to have sex or what?
No. So, like, previous to this chapter, it's just felt like a very slow burn where we're constantly retouching on topics we've already touched on.
Okay.
So if we go back a chapter, like last week's chapter, it ends with Denji asking about sex, and the lead up to that it didn't feel good. Like, it just, oh, so we're going back to this topic now.
Yeah.
But Fujimoto cooked with it this chapter.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't help, when you have that build up. Like, you're supposed to look forward to the next chapter, but it always feels like Fujimoto leaves the chapter off right before a really good cliffhanger and instead leaves us with a relatively bad one.
Oh shit, okay. So that goes into what people were kind of complaining about. So it was the last chapter, not this one, that people were...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there was people complaining about this one too, but I saw a lot more positivity towards this chapter.
Oh, good.
Like, for example, one of the things I loved was this little moment where, Yoru says, okay, you know what, we'll have sex. And then, like, she gives a side eye, and she says Asa gives her consent too. And when I read that panel, I was like, Fujimoto's talking to the audience. That's just what it felt like to me.
Yeah, like, don't worry, everyone involved wants to do this.
Yep. And then I saw people saying, they were like, Yoru says Asa gives her consent, but we don't actually see her give it.
I was
like,
literally just about to say that. Like, because, like, it could be so easy for her to just do, like, a superimposed, like, Asa drawing or something like that, where she's like, yeah, it's cool, or something like that. But instead, it comes from Yoru herself, and it's like,
Yeah.
are we sure about that? Because like, how fucked up would that be if Asa was not into it, and that was just Yoru speaking on some like, I'm a devil shit, I'm evil, look at me go.
Oh, yeah, super fucked.
Yeah.
However,
can't put it past this nigga either, though.
you can't, but you know, with a lot of the lead up with, you know, Asa actually liking Denji, it makes it a bit more believable that she gave her consent.
Yeah, that's true too.
But
Plus, you have like the Yoru writing, I think, in the previous chapter, where Asa was like, "Why did you didn't attack the dove? Because I don't like when birds get hurt. Like I thought you didn't even fuck with me like that, or something like that." And Yoru's just kind of like, "No, I think you're cool a little bit," or whatever she said. I can't remember what it was.
they definitely share emotions.
Yeah, for sure. So, because
But yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a slew of new devils. We've got what looks like the mosquito devil, maybe a wasp devil, a scorpion devil,
Beetle devil,
and then we got these like 3 main devils, and genuinely couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
the one on the left. The one on the left, his head looks like a crescent moon, but his legs are like robotic, so it's like...
Yeah, what's up with that? Let's talk about the butthole devil in the middle, bro.
He kind of, like, we can't see his full body, but it kind of looks like the head of a dick. So maybe it's
Speak
like...
Speak for yourself, my nigga. I don't know.
Not mine!
I don't know, man.
Looks like a lumpy head. I don't know.
Oh, shit. Oh, man, yeah.
And then,
I definitely did not go to dick right away, but, I mean, it's Fujimoto, so it could probably be a wiener.
There's like veins on it, like the pee hole on the top. I don't fucking know. The one on the right, I have no idea what that's supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's good. Looks cool as fuck, though.
Yeah. 2 of the 3 look really cool.
P-hole dick devil is fucking crazy, bro. Like, is that?
I really wish
he would have.
I think so, but I wish it would have like showed like a pulled out image of it.
Yeah, you really trying to see that dick.
Got, like, well, no. I can't talk my way out of that, but no. I was just trying to see if that's what the devil was.
Oh, this dude is the dick inspector.
I prefer dick detective.
Oh, the phallic forensics. I don't even know. Anyway.
Well, yeah. So
what are these?
Bugs
what's up with this final, or this final panel before it switches to Fumiko? Is that just like a bunch of bugs? You think? Yeah.
Oh no. Well, as far as I can tell, it looks like it's a bunch of bats.
Oh, bats.
Because it goes straight into the India Fumiko reporting in about a buttload of bats devouring people.
Yeah, that's right.
Looks like Canada has a bug problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then India Fumiko gets like torn to shreds by the bats while she's on the phone with Canada Fumiko, right? That's what we're seeing here.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. I really love how Fujimoto uses her though, because like she is our perspective around the world. Every time they need to check in with what's going on worldwide, there's a Fumiko there telling us, and it feels like it connects the story together.
100%. And we've talked about it a lot, about how it's important to kind of like zoom out and go to different locations around the world that aren't where the main characters are kind of centered on, just so that you can make the world feel a little bit more alive and that it's moving in the background without the influence of the main characters like directly or whatever, because we have no idea like why this sudden plague of bats and bugs and devils are kind of like hitting the streets right now. At least I don't think we do. So it just feels like there's just more going on outside of the Asa and Yoru and Denji and Chainsaw Man conflict. So Feels
Oh yeah,
good.
there's definitely some like devil invasion happening right now, but we don't have any information as to why.
Right.
Like as far as I know, we haven't been given any information for why there would be an invasion of devils besides the Nostradamus prophecy or whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was mention of like devils taking over or changing the status quo. I could be completely misremembering that though.
Sure.
But yeah, the only thing I could imagine is it might have something to do with like the Church of Chainsaw Man,
Ooh,
but
shit. Bringing that back.
I don't know.
This last line of dialogue from Canada Fumiko, where she's talking about last year when we Fumikos all gathered in the villa. We talked a great deal while gazing at the fireplace. Do you remember that? I don't remember that. This
No,
must
I
be...
don't think they showed that.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
this is just like her memory, but like we, the reader, don't have a memory of that happening. Okay. I was surprised that we
I
all
swear
had...
to God.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I swear to God, all of part two has taken place over the time span of like 2 weeks.
No, literally. So much has happened in such a short time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the line of dialogue continues. She's like, I was surprised that we all had different worst fears, even though we're all Fumiko. Other Fumikos answered with fears like sickness, people, and war.
Yeah.
At the time, I couldn't decide on mine, but now, and then it kind of like cuts off. What do you think she's gonna say there?
Bugs.
Bugs, yeah. I mean, that's a...
Yeah.
I mean,
She's about to get torn apart by a bunch of bugs.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess that is
It
what
is-
it would have to be.
It is interesting though, because like this is kind of reinforcing the idea that while they are all Fumiko, they are all shaped by their environment.
Yeah,
So they're the same person, but because they live in different places, obviously they're going to experience different cultures. You know, if you live in Australia, you're going to have a much higher, well, maybe have a much higher or lower fear of giant spiders.
Yeah.
I don't know how that worked.
yeah.
Well, I feel like if you lived in Australia, you'd get used to giant spiders, so maybe not.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I never really thought about it like that. I definitely know that I'm good on giant spiders and snakes and other kinds of
I'm good
creepy
too.
crawlies. Yeah, so...
Well, on spiders, I'm not too scared of snakes.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I got really, really bad arachnophobia.
Yeah, no, me too, honestly. It could be like the smallest spider ever, and I'm just like stun locked as soon as I see it.
There's a spider on the hood of my jacket this morning as I was leaving for work, and you should have heard the sound of my hand smacking it off of my jacket.
Oh, you're stronger than me. I couldn't even attack, bro. I'm literally stun locked. Like, hey, that spider got a brand new jacket. I'm happy for that guy.
Look, I'm so scared of them that I know if I don't take care of it, it's gonna come back, but I'm not gonna see it the next time. So I got to
Yeah.
get rid of them.
And it's gonna have kids.
Yeah, I am single-handedly making the spider devil extremely strong.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But yeah, bro. So then I wonder if this is like a biblical plague kind of situation, because like we didn't see any like locusts or anything like that, but it just like it's giving, you know. And I don't really know if there's any mention of bats swarming things and like biblical plague stuff, but
If it was biblical, it'd be more so locusts and frogs.
yeah, that's right. It's the frogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So never mind.
I mean, he could have just swapped them out with bats. He thought, like, no, there would definitely be a frog devil. I know plenty of people scared of frogs for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know.
What's so scary about frogs? They're just like slimy. I have no idea. My sister's like,
I guess
my
the
sister's-
texture of them.
one of my sisters is deathly afraid of butterflies. Fuck's up with that?
I don't know. People are scared of everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not scared of toads, but I personally won't pick up a toad because I don't want it to pee on me and I don't want a wart. So I stay away from toads.
Oh,
but I'm not
yeah.
scared of it.
Toads give you warts, don't they? That's fucking weird,
Yeah.
bro. What's up with that?
Yeah.
I need to know
couldn't
the
tell you.
science behind that.
But let me, you know what? I'll hit up a quick Google search. It's not very important to the podcast, but
I mean, it was a pretty
Why?
straightforward chapter anyway. So I mean, we should probably fill up a little bit of the time with with some adjacent fear googlery.
Oh, that is a myth.
It's a
Toads do
myth?
not
Yeah, I was
give
about to
you
say,
warts.
dude, I was about to say, like, that feels like there's no scientific connection there, and it's like magic.
I'm gonna go find a toad and pick it up. I ain't scared of it no more.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now, how the hell did people come up with that? They were just like, yeah, don't touch toads because they give you warts, and they were just lying their ass
I don't
off.
fucking know. Some dude probably like caught like some weird STD and like got a wart and just like blamed it on a frog, so he didn't have to fucking say what really happened. I don't fucking know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Next chapter. Okay, if you're gonna get in our way, then and then he tries to rev. Then he's like, "How's it go again? What's that about?"
This was a callback. You can talk, but I gotta go look for the callback for the example.
Sure, because another thing too is that like I'm pretty sure Denji earlier, maybe it's not this chapter, but yeah, I think it was that. Yeah, towards the end of last chapter, it's like you promised you'd have sex with me if I ate some dangerous devil, and I'm pretty sure I ate that dangerous devil, didn't I? So I don't remember what devil he's talking about, and I don't even remember her saying that I'd have sex with you if you ate a certain devil either. It's something I feel like Yato would just
The
know.
Death Devil, I think.
Oh, wait, really? But
Yeah.
wasn't Yoru like so mad that he was eating her sisters?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I feel like this is something that.
Oh, but
Yeah.
s- maybe not. Hold on. I thought I found it. I did not.
Yeah, we gotta find that shit because I'm like, bro, why can't you rev? Like, did he? Because at first I thought that it was attributed to like him eating a certain devil that would make him forget how to be Chainsaw Man or something like that, but that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And
I think he previously said if you're gonna get in our way, then die. But here he's forgetting the then die part.
Oh, okay. I was literally just about to say, like, maybe he doesn't forget how to rev, but he's forgetting, like, the next part of what he was trying to say. Okay.
Yeah.
But, like, he's about to get clobbered, so, like, rev anyway. Fuck finishing the sentence, my nigga. Like, transform, bro.
That's dingy for you.
Yeah, because if he did eat
He's got to make sure it's perfect.
Yeah, if he did eat the death devil, then he would forget to say die, right? Yeah, because he doesn't know what die means.
Yeah.
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 Fucking idiot.
That's funny.
You're so stupid. And this drawing of him on the last panel of the second to last page, like, hell are we gonna run away, right, Pochita? We're finally gonna get to have sex. His face is like so.
Fucking goblin.
I fucking hate this nigga, bro. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a great chapter for all of the
I
reasons
agree.
that we
Yeah,
said.
it was definitely the better out of the past 10. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I don't know how long I felt iffy about Chainsaw Man, but this
Yeah.
kind of was like, oh yeah, you know, Fujimoto, he's not so bad.
No, seriously, and like the whole like, you know, it got a little introspective too when Yoru's asking Denji like why are you doing all this or whatever. He's like, one of my friends was this nasty devil who tried to kill me any chance she got, but she had a soft spot for animals. He's talking about fucking Makima,
Power.
right? Oh, Power. I'm tripping.
No, Power.
I thought of Makima
she had her
because
cat.
of I thought of Makima because of the dogs. Yeah. But it's definitely Power. Yeah, I think I'd hoped you'd be like her.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was lonely. Wanted a friend, maybe. Yeah, he's like, you know, he's self-reflected a little bit. He's looking within. He's asking himself some
little
pretty
bit,
important
and then
questions.
immediately
He's confronting
stops.
some things. Yeah. Yeah, and then just gets horny again. Yeah. Baby steps.
When is he gonna learn?
I know, right? I know. That's all I had for Chainsaw Man this week, though. What about you, Trav?
Yeah, that's all I got too.
All right, well, that's going to do it for Chainsaw Man, chapter 230, Sex and Selection. All right, moving into Centuria, chapter 84, Duel. Pretty hype setup for this next confrontation on the Julian team side of things. We have Julian versus Seadric, the Raging Flame, being set up, which is pretty hype, honestly, because out of all the Iris Stratum characters that we had been introduced to previously, this is like kind of the one that had me the most interested to see him fight, or to just get a little bit more writing for him, especially considering the whole Arcos rivalry that they had going on, fire versus water. We get information that they would butt heads all the time and Seadric would always lose. That kind of makes sense considering their elemental affinities and whatnot. And I mean, shit, man. You know, one of my friends was live tweeting Centuria and got to the Arcos and Julian fight and said Ocean Jesus versus Ocean Satan. And like, yeah, I mean, it kind of makes a lot of sense, but it's like, obviously this dude doesn't want it with Julian if he didn't want it with Arcos, right? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, as hype as, you know, the fight kind of sounds like it would be, the longer you think about it, the more you're like, well, I mean, if this nigga couldn't fight Ocean Satan, he probably can't fight Ocean Jesus either. So I don't really know.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the kind of caveat to that is that, you know, when Julian fought Arcos, he had the ocean.
True.
We don't know what kind of arena they're going to be fighting in.
You're actually so right. Wow. Because now that I think about it, yeah. Julian needs to be in a large body of water in order to be as effective as he was against Arcos. If they're fighting on land. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm hype again now. My dumbass completely forgot Julian's power set for a second and just thought like, oh yeah, water.
No,
Julian fucks with water too. Yeah, but he's not like a water manipulator.
No, we
Yeah.
got basically this will be a physical enhancement type versus a physical enhancement type.
Yeah. But I mean, Seadric is probably like a flamethrower too, so he's probably gonna have
Oh yeah,
like,
definitely.
long range flame manipulation and other really cool things. I think it's tight that they tied his ability into healing, which is something that you kind of like see come up with fire powers every now and again inside of fiction, where it's like a healing flame. You know what I mean? Like you have the whole fucking Phoenix rebirth, you know, style of fire storytelling that we see sometimes, like in One Piece, for example, with Marco. I can't really think of any other examples off the top of my head, but you know, you've seen that shit. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool that they are kind of adding another layer to the necessity of interacting with Seadric besides just this duel. It's like also his power set allows him to do something that we're also trying to get him to help us with. So there's multiple reasons why we need to interact with this guy, but the hype is still there for the fight, of course. Yeah.
A fun fact: squid ink is not flammable, so that might be Julian's key to winning the fight.
Wait, what?
Squid ink isn't flammable, and the black clouds that Julian uses, it's ink.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Did
there
I-
was a extra, I think, from the last chapter. It wasn't in the actual. It actually might have been from the last volume, but it confirmed that he is using ink when he's using the black cloud.
Whoa, wait a minute. I did not see that. An extra.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's so fucking cool.
me-
That makes so much sense too. This nigga's like half octopus.
Let me see. Let me see if I can bring that up.
Yeah,
real
please
quick.
find that
But
because
yeah,
that's actually
basically-
so interesting to me.
Oh no, it was a volume one extras.
Volume 1. Oh, okay.
He says, "Wonder what this." Yeah, he says, "Wonder what this black smoke stuff is." I'm pretty sure it's not anything that'll do us harm, but. And then it shows a tentacle pop out of the water and says, "Answer octopus ink."
That's hilarious. So obviously
Yeah.
we've been following the series since it started. So when the volume, when the tankobon, you know, is collected and comes out, then you get these extra pages that give you extra information. We wouldn't have seen that obviously naturally because we've been reading everything chapter to chapter as it releases digitally. But that's That's really cool that that they released
Yeah,
that in
there
in
there's
the extra.
also a there was also the extra that shows that Helm and Elstree are in a relationship, like or at least they're sleeping together.
Wait, I remember that though in the story.
Yeah, yeah, that was another. I don't think that was in the story. It might have
Oh,
been,
I swear there was a
but I think
scene.
it was an extra.
There was a scene that showed like Elstree and Helm like making like some kind of pact, and Helm was like, "Yeah, but if you want me to do this, you gotta fuck me or something like that." And Elstree was like, fine," or some shit. I swear I remember that scene in the actual because I haven't seen any of these extras, but
Oh,
I
hold on,
specifically remember that.
let me send it to you because they got their yiddies out and whatnot.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm trying to see that, baby.
There, I just sent it.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me look on my phone though, so I don't fuck up the layout here.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
fair.
wait a minute. This is in the extras. Oh, a bit
Yep.
weaker than I expected. Good for me. Yo, that's
What
crazy.
context does that mean? I
Hey
don't know.
man. Hey man. Yeah. We gon' the imagination gonna have fun with that one later. But yeah, anyway, back to the chapter. Yeah, but it's cool because obviously Theodric is like a little bit more aligned morally with Arcos, and that's why the Margrave is like Theodric's not exactly the altruistic sort, so I doubt he'll like go out of his way to help us. We'll subdue him and make him heal Atoria is a very interesting angle here to go because like, do you think that Theodric is the kind of character that just like recognizes strength and respects strength to the point where if you best him in a duel, he'll kind of just do what you ask of him. But then also like apparently he fought with Arcos a bunch and always loses and still harbored this like rival resentment to Arcos. But I mean like if we saw them interact, would it be something along the lines of like Arcos telling him to do something and he's like, yes sir, because you're stronger than me type shit? I really want to get like a flashback of them interacting with each other just so I could see like kind of like what their dynamic looks like with Theodric knowing that he's weaker than Arcos and always loses to him, because I feel like that'll give us a lot more insight into how this kind of duel will go, and whether or not he would be willing to help heal Atoria.
I could genuinely see Julian beating him and then him filling out a role like Gigi in Evil Eye, where he just, well, Evil Eye specifically, where he just hangs around to fight Julian.
Oh yeah, I could see that too.
Oh, he's strong. I need to keep fighting him or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And she even says like he isn't the type to use his brain. He's always gotten his way using his overwhelming combat prowess. So I could see it being like, oh, like also like a Kizashi and Chrono Weaver kind of relationship too.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
from Ichi the Witch. Yeah, he's easy to handle, but like they zoom in on the Margrave's face like big time while she says that, so it makes me feel like there's like some kind of ulterior motive outside of helping Atoria that the Margrave is kind of after here too. Did you feel that?
Well, yeah, yeah. So it does explain that
Oh,
later in the
does it?
chapter when she's talking to Lucas.
Oh shit! Wait, yeah,
Lucas was like, "You were planning this,"
yeah, yeah, yeah.
or he was like, "How long have you been planning this?" And she said, "Since you sent me the letter." And
That's
he
right.
was like, "I didn't know he would offer to help Atoria of his own volition."
Yeah, but that still doesn't really give us too much
No, no, no.
too much of an insight into like what like another like ulterior motive could be with the Margrave and Theodric, because it feels like obviously on the in the foreground she has this plan where Artoria is special to her and she always wanted to extend her life and save her for one reason or another, and Lucas and her are kind of working together to get Julian to kind of like help with this like semi secret plan of recruiting Theodric for that end. But it
Yeah.
also feels like there's just one more thing that the Margrave has going on that is unbeknownst to the reader currently, that is kind of
Oh
being
yeah.
given away by certain like dramatic zooms in the art on her face, for example. And I'm just like so interested in what that could possibly be. I'm like obsessed with hidden secret motives of characters, especially ones that are seemingly on our side. I think that that's some of like the most like I need to read the next chapter, kind of kind of concepts that you can introduce into a story. Like that's always going to have me going like, no, I need to keep reading this because I need to know what that is, kind of shit. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's exciting.
I haven't trusted the Margrave since she was introduced.
Right,
I still got some trust issues with Lucas,
right.
but he does seem like he's coming around.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
there is
one
still
of
some
the
other shit that I feel like Lucas is definitely on, and we're gonna get like a big reveal on that later too. Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big parts about this chapter, though, that I really enjoyed, because it wasn't something I thought about just because we've seen Julian in fight after fight. He was a slave to begin with. It's this idea of innocence within Julian, because Julian has like an innocent kind of childlike mind, except when it comes to the battlefield. And, they clearly show this by, what's her name? Zana, by
Mm,
Zana asking if he likes older women, and his first thought was Mira and Engval, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they were family. They're good. I like older women," and he has no idea the implication. So he has like this innocent mind,
right.
but he's so battle hardy.
Yeah, yeah. He never had like a normal, upbringing. He never like got a chance to kind of process these very normal emotions and thoughts that you or I would have growing up, and going through like prepubescence into puberty into young adulthood, et cetera, et cetera. All of this shit is very obvious to normal people who did have a chance to have an upbringing like that. But for Julian, who's only known slavery and war, yeah, it's pretty obvious that this kind of stuff might go over his head. But at the same time, it's like he spent so much time with these people that like he should know what the fuck they mean by this kind of shit at this point, I want to say. But it is still funny to kind of like focus on that aspect of his character. He is kind of a dunderhead in that way.
Yeah, and like he is the my personal favorite trope of protagonist in shonen manga because like Lucas even clearly says it, he only lives for the sake of others. He doesn't think about his own life or happiness. And that's always such a solid protagonist
Yeah,
because you get to see that journey where they learn how to do both.
yeah, 100%, 100%.
But I'm gonna ask you a quick shipping question.
Oh shit,
Are you Julian TT, Julian Lacrima, or Julian Zana?
nigga, what kind of question is that? It's
I don't know.
fucking it's God, I can't even do a combined name for them all that well. Nothing rolls off the tongue. Juliti,
Julie
Titiana,
T.
Titiana, Titian.
TT.
I don't even know. Tulian.
Uh, I'm personally a Juliana or uh,
Ju-
Zanulian.
really? Zana?
It's just personal preference.
Whoa. Dude.
Although I could take that back because I don't actually know the ages of these characters.
That's true
Like I
too.
don't know how old Julian is. It like older women like is Julian like 21 and she's like 30 or
Yeah.
what's the implication there?
That's a pretty good question too. Have we seen Zana without the mouth covering?
We have not.
Okay. I'm wondering if she's like a
That's a part of the mystery.
wondering what that mouth talking about. No, like I'm trying to think like is she like a what's Shorty from Mortal Kombat? Melina?
Melina. Yeah.
Yeah, takes off the shinobi
Okay.
mouth guard and it's just like fucking angry razor shark teeth mouth.
So post time skip, Julian is 18 to 20.
Okay.
Chapter 42, he is 19 to 21.
How do you know that?
I just looked it up on the wiki page for it.
Oh, okay, okay. And we probably don't have the ages of like anyone else then, right?
No, no, we don't.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean shit, man. I mean you can't put it past these shonen mangaka because they be shipping, characters
Yeah,
of all types of ages together, but I want to say if the story is implying relations between any characters that they should be around the same age. or at least in the realm of you know age pairings that make sense and aren't weird. But like I said, you can't really put it past these
Yeah.
niggas. Yeah.
I don't think Zana has any. Is it Zana? I keep forgetting her name. Yeah, Zana. I don't
Ninja
think she
Dragon
has
Tail chick.
any.
Yeah, Zana.
I don't think she has any genuine interest in Julian. I think at this point she's just teasing Lacrima and TT because she knows that Julian's mind doesn't work that way.
And you're shipping them anyway.
It was a joke.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, I'm definitely Julian and TT all day, bro. Like they're day ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
no, I agree with
yeah.
that.
And like the Lacrima situation is just
Yep.
weird because I remember when she first like tried to say like, all right, we're gonna have children and get married and all that shit, and it was just very like unsettling storytelling at that time for like why she wanted to pair up with him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I feel like she is kind of in the same boat as Julian, but Arcos probably said some weird ass shit to her, so she knows a little bit more.
Yeah, true. But then wouldn't that make Julian like
Uh,
isn't that necrophilia technically? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Ew.
Aquaphilia.
Aquaphilia. Yuck. We good on that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that cup of water's looking real good.
This nigga thirsty as hell. Nah, but yeah, no, it's definitely Julian and TT.
Literally.
All day, all day.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But yeah, Seadric, man, like now that I've like completely
Shit, I would even accept.
Who? Don't say it.
Oh, I would even accept Julian and Lucas.
Oh shit. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't know why my mind went where it went. I'm not
What?
even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it. Y'all are just
All
gonna
right,
have to
yeah, keep that to yourself.
I'm keeping that to my fucking self, bro. But yeah, Julian and Lucas, yeah, I'm sure that's a ship that exists already inside of, a certain area of the community that we just haven't found yet. But
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I'm still personally Julian and TT, but I
100%.
could see, reasonably people shipping these two.
yeah, for sure. They
Well, how did
definitely-
we just go on like a 10-minute side tangent about shipping?
I don't fucking know.
It wasn't my fault.
No, wait. Yes, it was. You definitely brought it up, you son of a bitch. Oh
I
shit.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But yeah, duel between Julian and Seadric. Now that I've come back to Earth, and I'm like done thinking that Julian just has water powers for no fucking reason, like an idiot. Now I'm thinking about their fight, and it's like, holy shit, that's gonna be fucking dope, dude. Because one, Seadric already is missing an arm, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
But
think
he uses like a firearm.
Yeah, so he replaces that with fire. That's going to be like a really interesting situation when it comes to them fighting, because fire can do a lot of damage to someone, but it takes a while for fire to actually like kill someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you're fighting someone, that when you're fighting against fire, you're going to get burned a lot. And that burn damage doesn't necessarily, like it's not like getting your head sliced off or getting shot through the heart or shot through the head by like a gun or something. It's not like you're getting fucking smashed to smithereens by some like, giant hammer or blunt object or something like that. It's like almost kind of like a death of 1,000 paper cuts kind of, unless he like, fucking fire blasts you and like incinerates you with like one like explosion type ability. I can see Seadric's fighting style chipping away at Julian slowly until he's just kind of like immobile but like not dead. So I don't see the death trigger kind of playing a huge part, at least right away in the fight. I can see Julian having like a really hard time with dealing with a dude that's probably just constantly on fire or constantly sending very painful but not mortal fire attacks at Julian throughout the fight. So just like picturing the conflict like is really really interesting to me. And I wonder what Theodric's defense is going to be like against a character like Julian, because we know that he is a healer with his powers. He could probably, if he can use his power to heal others, he definitely could probably use his power to heal himself too, right? So I can see this kind of like coming to, you know, a little bit of like a stalemate almost, where as soon as Theodric does, you know, enough damage to Julian, if it does eventually kill him, obviously Julian comes back. But then if Julian does enough damage to Theodric, then Theodric just heals it. So that's kind of like a, they're going to kind of like cancel each other out to a certain degree, I want to say, in their own ways with their powers.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It'll definitely, you know, make for an interesting fight. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to see what the writing looks like in there, because they're like, that's one thing that Centuria does so well, is the writing that goes into the strategy between two characters trying to figure out the other's powers, how to counter them, what weaknesses they have, how to exploit them. You know, and what they're going to do to like close the conflict and secure the W against the other. And I just know that the writing is going to be insane for a fight against these two, considering their power sets. Yeah.
I wonder how fast it's going to happen. Like, are we going to have any breaks where we go back to see Altus, or are we just going straight into it like 3 to 5 chapters from now?
I could definitely see it happening that quick. Shit, maybe 3, exactly, because I mean, they're gonna go from here. I mean, the chapter kind of ended in like a slice of lifey kind of like, you know, fun family time kind of situation. So then if we don't immediately switch perspectives back to like an Altus or like some other area of like Rumir, or maybe even like the Witches area or something like that, and we continue following, you know, the group that this chapter ended on, since it kind of ended on some wholesome shit, I can see, you know, us maybe going directly to Theodric, you know, like along the, like maybe the next chapter, if we do continue to focus on Julian's group, is them in transit towards Theodric for one reason or another, and then maybe the cliffhanger of the next chapter is them running into him for some reason, and then the fight starts the next time. But if not, then, or for the next chapter, but if not, then I can definitely see us switching perspectives to Altus or some other group while we make our way to Theodric. Yeah, it could go either way.
Something else that's interesting.
Yeah.
The Margrave is the one preparing the arena.
Right.
And I wonder if she's familiar with Julian's powers or not, and if she'll give him a body of water to work with.
Ooh, good question. Good question. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I don't want him to have a body of water.
No,
I need
seriously.
to see him use his brain.
Yeah, definitely. And especially because thinking about Yato too, like Yato does not.
He'd be so mad.
Yeah, Yato does not want to see Julian fight in water again so soon. And I mean, like, he didn't last time in the last arc. He didn't have a body of water to help last time. So I mean, I guess there is technically a break in between that. But I mean, it would just seem like the fight would just be so one-sided in Julian's favor if he did have access to that. And they're kind of like building this up to be like, you know, the next big fight for Julian one-on-one. And so you wouldn't want to give him that same advantage, I want to say, as his last big one-on-one fight. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think we can be pretty sure that he's going to be fighting on dry land. But yeah, I don't know. Great chapter, though. I don't think I have anything else. Do you have anything?
Nah, that's it for me.
All right, well, that is going to do it for Centuria, Chapter 84, Duel. Now moving into Dandadan, Chapter 226, Let's Create the Ultimate Yokai. Traffy, how are we feeling?
All right. So we are recording this on a Monday due to the delays, of course. So we do know that 227 is out. I haven't read it, but we will be saving coverage of that for Sunday as we normally would, because 226 was a very important chapter and I didn't want to just skip over it. Mainly focusing around the Dandadan, I guess you could call him.
Yeah, right.
But there was a lot that happened in this chapter that initially was confusing. Like, for example, the fact that they took Momo's powers and they took Zuma's powers as well.
Off
And
screen.
off screen, well, the end of the chapter shows
Yeah.
Momo's being taken,
Right.
but we still have no idea how they got Zuma's.
Yeah.
But we start going into this explanation. In order to draw out the intrinsic power of the fairy tale card, we need 6 curses. And so it goes through Alice in Wonderland, Snow White, The Little Mermaid, Hansel and Gretel, Little Red Riding Hood, and The Adventures of Pinocchio. Right now, they have Alice and Hansel and Gretel. Zuma's, I get being called Hansel and Gretel because there's 2 of them,
Right.
but why is Momo's powers called Alice? Like, what does her powers have to do with Alice in Wonderland?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like, my mind, as soon as you just asked the question, is kind of tying it to the idea of like the through the looking glass like concept of being completely normal and then finding, you know, an opening or a door into a completely different world that you didn't know existed above your own or alongside your own. Just like that idea of like storytelling, which is like so normal now, especially in these like shonen superpowered stories where there's always some kind of like hidden underground faction of, you know, supernatural ability wielding people that you didn't know were existing in Tokyo with you, like type shit, you know what I mean? So this, and maybe it doesn't really work as well for Momo in this example because she was always tied to the spiritual side of things through Seiko, but like it does still kind of like line up with the fact that she was a regular high schooler who didn't know that she had powers. Okarun was a regular high schooler who definitely thought there was aliens out there but didn't know that, you know, the world would open up into this extremely sci-fi and fantastic, you know, world of Dandadan that they, you know, that we know of now or whatever. So it is kind of like a through the looking glass situation in that respect, where it's like they've kind of been thrusted into this new version of the world, and our major players in it. So like that's like the only line that I can really draw to Alice in Wonderland is just the concept of the story itself and Momo being the main character of it.
Yeah, and so by the end of the chapter, you know, we get 2 more powers. Obviously, what's her face is the Little Mermaid. That one's pretty clear. But then you have the Lord of the Flies or whatever it's called, and it's like, okay, is that one Little Red Riding Hood? Is it Snow White? Is it The Adventures of Pinocchio? Like, which fairy tale is associated with bugs?
Hmm. Good question. I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Which
lot
one
of
is
questions here.
which one is the God, what is her name? The class rep with the turtle power.
Oh, she was the Little Mermaid.
She's Little Mermaid. Okay, I can see that actually.
Yeah, because if you look at the end, it shows the girl with like the bra, and it looks like a mermaid tail.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so maybe yeah, I don't even fucking know. Yeah, well, I mean, we wouldn't have been able to draw that connection as well, probably, if we didn't have this drawing on this last splash page of the chapter. With
Definitely,
yeah,
yeah.
with her looking like a literal mermaid. So maybe like I don't know because like this is like a manifestation, like a visual representation of the powers, you know, separate from, you know, the character that was last manipulating them, right? Because we all know that like, you know, class reps powers take their form based on the class rep, right? But like completely stripped away from her, the power has its own is its own entity with its own form, and that form kind of like changes depending on how it's who's using it, I want to assume. So maybe this is just like the butt naked, like, you know, form of the yokai power or whatever, and it always
Maybe,
looked like a
yeah.
mermaid. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if that's the case, then well, no, because the Lord of the Flies is just like a huge cloud of bugs too. There's no like different form for it,
Yeah.
at least that we're seeing yet. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's another drawing that will come out later that helps it align with one of these other fairy tales to some degree. But like I want to assume that there isn't a very obvious thing that ties any of these powers to, you know, these specific fairy tales also at the same time. Like sure we have the mermaid form of the class rep's power that was kind of like shown, but nothing else gets that kind of visual representation to help us tie it to a fairy tale. Like Hansel and Gretel, like
Yeah,
sure, it's two umbrellas and there's two names in Hansel and Gretel, but like that's it. You know what I mean? There's no visual
yeah.
representation that helps us there, like with class rep's power. So maybe they've just arbitrarily assigned, these abilities to these fairy tale stories,
I
and they can just use any
I
six powers.
I wonder if the powers are, or the powers are more so associated with the fairy tales based on the original user, because you could possibly see Momo as like Alice in Wonderland, because she, at the beginning of the series, she started discovering a new world of
Hmm.
aliens and the supernatural, and she didn't
Yeah.
believe in really any of it.
Right. She went down
Um,
that rabbit hole and
for
followed the rabbit down the hole pretty far at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for Zuma, it was him and his brother, and you could kind of put that as Hansel and Gretel.
Okay.
I don't have
True.
an explanation for the other two, though.
Yeah.
The only other idea, let's specifically talk about the Momo chick, once again forgetting her name. I can never remember her name for
Yo,
whatever reason.
Yoichi? No. Yo, fuck, I can't remember. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look it
I don't
up.
know. Her name,
I'm gonna look it up. Lord
I
of the Flies, Dandadan.
yeah,
Fuck, what's her name, bro? No, it didn't give it to me right away. Wait, associated with. Wait, the demon Beelzebub. Oh shit. Koki Yukishiro.
Koki. Okay. So, we kind of look back to what we know about Koki, and if you try to follow the pattern, she grew up as a piano genius. No, she didn't. She was trying to be a piano genius, and she practiced and practiced until she could win the award, and then she quit playing the piano when her op stopped playing as well.
Yeah.
Um, Looking into that, as well as our available, I don't see any relation still.
Well, maybe because she. This is gonna be a stretch, bro. But walk with me. Maybe she's Pinocchio in the sense of her lying to herself about what she really wanted to be and what she expected of herself, because she thought that she could only do something or what she wanted to do because she had a rival that was doing the same thing. And then once that rival kind of like stopped doing that thing, so did she. But that's her denying who she really wanted to be for the sake of another person. And so she should have never stopped trying to play the piano, because that was always her thing that she should have been doing, but thought she could only do it because someone else was doing it, and now they're not doing it, so she's technically lying to herself about who she is.
Nah, that's a stretch. I don't think so. That
Ah.
actually does. That makes the most sense that I could think of in regards to what we have left, because like Alice in Wonderland, or not Alice in Wonderland, Snow White, um, she got poisoned because she was pretty, and then the prince kissed her and she woke up. I just don't see, not unless
Wait, who's
like
Snow White?
you would. We don't. I don't think we have Snow White yet.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, we got Alice in Wonderland, Hansel and Gretel, The Little Mermaid. So all that's left is Snow White, Pinocchio, and Little Red Riding Hood. So it's
Hmm.
kind of trying to figure out which one is associated with Koki. Um, Now, Snow White could work. Her mind could have been poisoned by the gym teacher, and
Oh,
then the group of friends woke her up to realize what she was doing
the
wrong.
group of friends is the
It could
pit
fit
is
there
the
too.
prince. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on.
Oh, hold on. No, no. The pygmies, not Lord of Flies. The pygmies are dwarves. She is Snow White.
Oh, dude, you're so right.
Yep. So we're
We
just
did it.
looking
You did
for
it.
Little Red Riding Hood and Pinocchio.
Yo, you're so right,
All right.
bro. Dude, good job. The
That
pygmies
was
are the
like my brain is
dwarves.
smoking right now.
Yeah, okay, so there is actually, it's not just like an arbitrary assignment of powers to fairy tales. But then that makes me
Yeah,
wonder,
this.
like, so if we were always using this Jumanji, this like cursed Jumanji game for the greater goal of Saint Germain and this Dandadan nigga, like, that means that like that just makes me wonder like if there is this thematic connection between these fairy tale stories and these abilities and the way that they work and the circumstances under which the characters receive these powers, then doesn't that kind of imply that like this was all kind of like prophesized through this game to work this way?
Hold on. So, uh, the class rep with the Little Mermaid, her powers are related to music and singing,
That's right.
and the Little Mermaid sings and loses her voice.
Yeah.
So that one makes sense too.
Right.
Um,
But then
I
like
still don't have an explanation for Alice in Wonderland.
yeah, but I mean, it could be like circumstantial to the character who received the powers, just like how we drew the connection between Koki and Snow White by the gym teacher poisoning her mind and the pygmies playing the role of the dwarves and whatnot. It's like that's specific to Koki's character and what she's experienced, and that's what ties it to the fairy tale. It's not just the ability by itself. It's also certain things that happen to the character that align with the story of the fairy tale that's linked with it. So like if that's the case,
Yeah.
like yeah, if that's the case, then I like what if, for example, things didn't happen that way with Koki and she still had those powers? Like how would we be able to tie it directly to Snow White without certain things happening thematically that make them line up? But would they still need her powers anyway? There has to be something else that ties these specific powers to the fairy tales. Otherwise, why did they have a fairy tale equivalent in the first place? And why, like, it makes me feel like originally, well, earlier in the conversation, I had the idea that it could literally just be any six powers and they would just arbitrarily assign them to one of these fairy tale cards, regardless of any kind of thematic relevance or, or storytelling link in that way. But now I'm feeling like after our conversation that ties all these things together, it's like, okay, no, they definitely do represent these fairy tale stories in a couple of different ways, whether it's the ability itself or the circumstances of the character that gained the ability. But now it's just like, okay, how far back does this plan go? And did these villains, like, or the creator of this game, always know that these powers would find these people under these circumstances to link their characters to these fairy tales? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm going
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going
No.
crazy, but like why does it line up with the fairy tales so specifically? Like things could have just gone differently for these characters, storytelling wise, and not link them suddenly to the stories.
Maybe it is less so a game and more so like a prophecy.
A prophecy, right?
Like these six individuals will always come in each generation or something along those lines.
Fuck, dude.
But that also asks the question, what is the intrinsic power of the fairy tale card? What is the fairy tale card and what is their objective with it?
It's like blowing my mind that like Saint Germain and this Dandadan dude are like still using the Jumanji game for like their fucking ultimate like goal. And that like this kind
Yeah.
of, it seemed like such a one-off story arc. Like, yeah, we're gonna invoke Jumanji because like that's a classic and everybody fucked with that. We're gonna use that'll be fun to use it in our story. No, it's actually like the most important thing in the story. like, like I'm just like blowing my mind that they're revisiting this right now. And it's this important.
Yeah, I mean, like even with the Dandadan dude, when we had previously seen a panel of him, I didn't realize he was the masked dude
yeah,
or
yeah,
the card dude from
yeah,
before.
right. Yeah, I didn't either.
And then we get to the end of this chapter and he's looking more like Turbo Granny than anything else.
which is also crazy.
Like the last panel, he kind of looks like Turbo Granny.
Yeah, he really does, doesn't he? What's going on with that? God, I can't wait for fucking...
Oh no, there's...
Yeah, I can't wait for Yukinobu to tie
I
all
will
of
be
this
reading
together.
227 right after this.
Yeah. But, yeah, man, the shinobi warrior girl who can change her appearance and going and being a part of the ritual that saved Momo so that she could like secretly steal her powers is an insane reveal. Wait.
Yeah, it definitely was. Because, like, the part that confused me the most is she still used her powers to assist Okarun when they were fighting the Serpos.
Wait, what? Really?
Not like, yeah. She enhanced the Ogre Club.
Oh, Momo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Momo.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
I say something else?
Yeah. No. I thought we were talking about the ninja girl. I was like, wait, but yeah. She definitely did. Because like, I mean, I feel like there's a difference between just like latent spiritual energy that you can harness and like Momo's actual specific like innate like psionic hands ability. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like
That's
the
possible.
relationship between like Nen in general and your Hatsu. You know what I mean? Like your actual Nen ability is, you know, you use Nen for it, but it's like a separate. Ooh, whoops! Like if you're not using your Hatsu, if you're not using your Nen ability, you still have access to Nen in the form of like Gyo or Ren or Ryu or Shu or like any of the other like, you know, shared Nen applications that anyone can use before they've developed their like special ability or whatever. So I think that that's like an explanation for why she was able to help with the Ogre Club, but just not use the psionic hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I thought that she had also put like a bubble over them, but maybe that was a Ogre Club too.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't remember. I'm looking back through it now. Like when the whale blew up and fell on him.
Yeah.
It might have been the Ogre Club
That's
though.
probably the Ogre Club, yeah. But a good question. Good thing to look back
I think I'm
into.
almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost there. Yeah, it was the Ogre Club. He was slicing it in half.
Okay, gotcha.
So, yeah, you're probably right there.
Okay. Yeah, that's what makes the most sense to me. But yeah, I don't know. This chapter was huge, dude.
It really was. Like, there was just so much to talk about with this one.
No, literally. I don't know if I have anything else though.
Yeah, I think that is it for me as well.
All right, well, that'll do it for Dandadan, chapter 226. Let's create the ultimate yokai. All right, now moving into Shangri-La Frontier, chapter 256, Scrap and Build, which I can't remember the last time the chapter title wasn't like, you know, that usual long, poetic, you know, combination of words or whatever that we usually get for that. Maybe that's only during like Colossi raids or something that the chapter titles are like that. I don't know, but I'm just like, I think this is my first time actually looking at.
Nah, we usually get them.
We do usually get them. Okay, yeah, this one is just like so basic and bare bones
Yeah.
compared to like what we usually get. Anyway, I'm loving the continuation of this PvP fight. I feel like a lot of the art during this Rebellious versus Katso fight was kind of like small and chaotic compared to like other, you know, or other fights that we've kind of like seen in Shangri-La Frontier. It's a lot more wordy. There's a lot more dialogue, but like the characters just like it seems like there's a lot less, you know, movement and a lot less spectacle, you know, to compared to other things, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Everything seems kind of like zoomed out and in small panels, where in other fights, like historically, it's a lot more cinematic and you can see a lot more of what's happening, and there's a lot more bigger panels dedicated to clashes and whatnot. But I like have barely even seen what this nigga's swords look
I
like.
mean, we had a few big ones.
But yeah, but like I'm just saying, like when he's like when he pulls out his swords, Like you don't get like a full, like I could barely like make out like what they even look like throughout this fight. Like half the time they're like covered by dialogue bubbles or, by motion lines or effects or anything like that. I don't know. Maybe I sound like I'm just like nitpicking or whatever, but it just doesn't feel the same as previous fights in Shangri-La Frontier in this one. It seems a lot more because of what I'm saying. It
Yeah,
feels a lot more like a joke and less serious, even though it is rebellious. So, I guess I was just
yeah,
expecting more of a
it's definitely
spectacle.
played as a joke.
Yeah, yeah. I think I was just expecting more of a
Like,
spectacle and less. Yeah, I thought it would look sexier.
no, they're all there to troll him.
Yeah, yeah,
Like me and Yato have been talking about this over the past few chapters because I've been of the mind that Kato was just gonna wipe the entire guild by himself,
yeah.
and it still kind of seems like that.
Right, he too owed him, and now I mean it's looking like Rebellious doesn't really want it either. So,
Yep, yep,
but I
and
mean I feel like with
like
these scrolls and the battery running out on Byakko, I feel like Rebellious will somehow like sneak a win in here, and we'll have to move on to the next fighter. But especially because they were already like talking about it too. He's like, "Yo, should I like dip out and like let one of you guys fight next or something like that?" I think I remember dialogue like that. So I don't think Katsu will
I don't
win this one.
think so.
Nah, because hold on, let me look. Maybe it was in the previous chapter.
I don't know. I've definitely, had the idea that the battery would run out at a very bad moment and,
Yeah.
he'd get striked out. But I don't know. At this point, it's like, it looks like their plan is just about finished because I think this is just a theory. But I think their idea was to get Rebellious to get so mad that he starts using a crap ton of money from the guild as, as an excuse to kick him out or something along those
Oh,
lines.
sure, yeah,
And
because
with him
Ray,
pulling out these scrolls,
yeah. And they do make a comment about how expensive the scrolls are. And we know that, I
yeah,
almost said Ray, but Ray's sister, Cyger 100, we know that she's like secretly working with Wolfgang in the background, unbeknownst to Rebellious, for the end of like getting him out of the guild.
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, I think you're onto something there.
yeah. I want to see Sanraku fight in PvP because he did have that whole training arc where he was trying to learn how to better fight in PvP that it would be kind of disappointing if he didn't.
Right.
But at the same time, I think I would enjoy the misdirection of, Katsu just sweeping them all.
Honestly, though, pardon me, that would be great for Katsu too, because like inside of the Wolfgang, I think that there is like an obvious hierarchy of character importance from Sunraku to Pencilgon to Katsu up until this point. And something like this would kind of like, and we did have the Galaxia Heroes arc that like had Katsu get like the final W to secure the game or whatever at the end of that arc. But still, like even during that arc, like Sunraku and Pencilgon's fights were obviously better than his. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
were they were they were a bigger deal. They looked better. They were more hype. They were more interesting conceptually from start to finish. Like those two like were the top two, and then it was Katsu. Even in his own little separate arc. You know what I mean? So and even in the story, from the beginning of them creating the Wolfgang until now, it feels like Katsu has kind of been like the third wheel next to Pencilgon and Sunraku, because in the Weathermon fight is when they all felt the most equal. But still,
Yeah.
you had that Pencilgon element with Setsuna or whatever, the character, the NPC character that was directly tied to Wazaimon. Her and Pencilgon had their own thing going, and we got focus in the storytelling for Pencilgon and that Setsuna character to kind of help build up the narrative for the Wazaimon fight. And obviously
Yeah.
Sunraku is the main character who 1v1 Wazaimon, while Pencilgon and Oikatsu double teamed the mount or whatever. So like I feel like the hierarchy has just been like so obviously like Sunraku, Pencilgon, Katsu in that order. But this is like a good way for Katsu to kind of, elevate himself back up to a little bit more of an equal standing, hierarchically with Pencil Guy
Yeah,
and Sunraku. Yeah.
I could see Katsuo beating Rebellious, whatever his name is, and then he loses to Saiger 100, and then it's a fight between Saiger 100 and Sunraku, basically to test if Saiger 0 is in good hands.
Okay, I like that too. I'm fucking with that.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best outcome that I can see now. Now, obviously, it could be written in a way much better than what I'm thinking, but that's just where I would like to go with it.
Sure. Yeah, that's cool. But I mean, fuck, man. Like before these scrolls get introduced, like Katsuo is dancing on this nigga, bro, and it's like
Dog walking
yeah,
them.
like you're the vice captain of Schwarzwolf, and it's like if your initial fight before you bust out these fucking scrolls, you know, is you getting like dog walked, you know what I mean? It kind of like lowers the entire like vibe of Schwarzwolf as a guild, in my opinion. Like they're treating like this fight like a fucking joke. Like even though they've been trolling this nigga the whole time, like I still thought that he should be strong as shit. Like even if he's easily rage baited,
Well,
you know what I mean? Like I feel like he should still be cold blooded at the end of the day, you know? So
yeah, I mean, this is like, I guess the best example I could think of is let's take New World or whatever it's called. It's an
yeah,
MMORPG
Amazon's
that
MMO.
mainly,
Yeah.
yeah, it mainly focuses on like hammers and muskets and whatnot. So that's kind of the time period of the weapons. And imagine if someone just busted out like a cyber dog infused with it all of a
Yeah.
sudden, and they're the only player in the game that has access to that.
True.
It's gonna be a little difficult to beat them.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, the Byakko situation is fucking broken. That is
It
true.
is, but I mean, a whole point for this fight has been, or not specifically this one, but all of the ones that pass, is it's not like the level of gear you have; it's the level of player that you are.
True. That's true too.
So maybe it's just. Well, then again, this is something I had said to Yato. This is like having a pro player taking on a highly ranked player in a game. The pro player is just going to dog walk every time because that's the scenario they're playing in.
Right.
They are always highly competitive for money, whereas a ranked player is just playing to see imaginary numbers go up.
Plus, it's like a lot more, you know, skill based in an MMORPG, like, you know, Full Dive Shangri-La Frontier, where it's like true to life physics and you have to aim everything you do. And there's like really thin margins of error and like really, you know, tiny moments of, you know, Twitch responses that you can kind of like exploit to get the upper hand. Like, you know, if an attack is coming at you and you kind of like sidestep it at the very last moment, you know what I mean? Like that's possible in a game like Shangri-La Frontier. So it creates that skill based, you know, aspect to it, to where even Katsuo says, like, even if you were level 500 or 1,000, like I can outskill you. Whereas like if you're in like a tab targeting, yeah, if you're in like a tab targeting like style like game, like MMORPG, where things are a lot more about like how close proximity you are before you fire off an attack, or you know, RNG based, you know, hit or miss, you know, situations or whatever, then the level gap and the gear quality definitely matters a lot more. Because like in a game like League of Legends, for example, if you're just like close enough to, that's why the snowballing is so insane in MOBAs like that, because like if you're just close enough to a character, like you're going to land your attacks on them because they made the mistake of getting that close to you. In a game like fucking like Smite, for example, which is another MOBA that's a lot more skill based and you have to aim everything, and there isn't really a whole lot of lock on abilities. Like you can pretty much dodge everything in a game like Smite. So that's why you can see like in high level pro play, even if a you know, even if a character is a lot farther ahead of you in gold and gear and whatnot, if you get caught in a 1v1 scenario with that person, you can outmaneuver them and outskill them and win, even if they're like 3 to 5 or 6, you know, 7 levels ahead of you just because you dodged everything and landed all of your shit. You know what I mean? But like in other kinds
Yeah.
of games where it's all about like proximity and you have a lot more lock on abilities, then that level gap and that gear gap definitely matters a lot more. But in Shangri-La Frontier, it's like, man, like this is true to life everything. It's like I could literally just weave your shit and land mine, and the level gap like suddenly doesn't matter. Sure, you might have a lot more HP or you might have a lot more defense, but like if I'm only landing my attacks and you're missing yours, then even if you're 50 levels ahead of me, like I'm still going to win eventually. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah. But and that's what we're seeing here, and that goes back to what you were saying about a pro player versus just like a high ranked player in a specific game. The pro player is going to have a lot more reason to have the wherewithal and the knowledge and the skill to kind of outmaneuver you and get the W, even though you're a really high rank in the game anyway. So because they just have that much more experience with gaming in general and a lot more intense training, you know, in gaming versus you. Yeah, you've just spent a lot of time with this game. The pro player has spent a lot of time gaming, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At a high level.
At a high
mind
level.
you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really interesting concept to explore, honestly. And I'm glad that Shangri-La Frontier is doing that. Because, like, if this is the gaming manga, then stuff like this should be included in its storytelling. And it seems like at every point where something very important or interesting about gaming that we've come to think about or come to know over time is eventually being implemented in the storytelling of Shangri-La Frontier. Like, you can tell that these niggas are real gamers, bro. And they're not just telling a story about video games. Like, they actually live this shit. Like, when they're not drawing manga, all they're doing is playing video games. Literally. But, yeah. I don't know.
It makes for such a solid and engaging story, especially when you can pull off of your own personal experiences with gaming.
Exactly. Exactly. So what do you think these scrolls are going to do?
Oh, I have no idea. They're probably just going to be like some super powerful. Well, it's a magic scroll, so it's definitely some super powerful spell.
Yeah, especially if it's one-time use and cost a lot. And it's not
Yeah.
like it's necessarily something that like Katsuo won't be able to handle, but just like that combined with the idea that his mech is running on low battery and he's already like 3 rounds
Yeah.
in. Yeah, I think that Rebellious will get him with these fuck ass scrolls, bro. Somehow, in like a you know, in a
I
way
don't
that
think so.
doesn't make Katsuo seem weaker, but just in a way to where it's like, okay, there's literally nothing that he possibly could have done, and it's like the circumstance and not the skill
Yeah, it
of the
just catches
character.
them by surprise.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But I guess we will see. I don't know if I have anything else for Shangri-La Frontier. Do you?
Nah, I don't have anything else.
Oh, I guess the last line of dialogue here. It's just about time for me to exercise my full force too. What do you think that means?
Oh, that was why I was referring to, these scrolls not really doing anything against him
Oh,
because he
because
hasn't
he
been
seems to
going all
have
out.
yeah, he seems to have like a response for yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I guess we'll see what happens in the next one, but that is going to do it for Shangri-La Frontier, chapter 256, Scrap and Build. Now moving into Ichi the Witch, chapter 72, 72nd Hunt, even one moment longer. Beautiful chapter, holy shit. Cover page, or color page though, we gotta talk about that, because Usazaki snapped.
Color pages.
Color pages. Usazaki snapped on the inside color page and the color double page spread. How are you feeling about the colors?
Oh man, this is great. The way it's painted in like I want to say either watercolor
Yeah,
or oil.
it's
It
kind of
just
it's kind of watercolory. Yeah,
Yeah, it's so serene and it just fits this moment of, two people who love each other, and it's the last 45 seconds that they get to talk and spend together.
Yeah.
It's just the colors perfectly fit the moment.
It absolutely do, and especially because there's like a little bit of a distance separating Crow and um God, what is Shorty's name?
Starts with an M.
Does it?
Minnie.
Minnie, yeah. Crow and Minnie. There's a significant distance separating them, and it's all about time. And this like color story and just like the effects with the stars and the speckles, like and whatnot, it's giving like a very celestial space time vibe, which is definitely, a theme that kind of obviously relates to Crow, but also to Minnie and his relationship with, or in her relationship with Crow and their baby and what the baby seems to be able to do, and it just everything about the chosen colors and the style of the background presentation with the art all just makes everything pop, in not just like a visual way but a thematic way too, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fire.
But always.
Yeah.
And to continue that fire, before I start talking about the actual chapter, Ichi the Witch, just the last few chapters have been on a generational, like, emotional run.
Yeah, seriously.
But I do love, this chapter pretty much starts with "Hear my final words, Minnie," and then the facial reaction from Minnie kind of, like, it tells a story of its own. She thought he was back to life. She
Yeah.
thought the baby had rewinded time, brought him back to life. And as he says, "Hear my final words," she realizes, oh, he's still going to die anyways. But then
Yeah.
she locks in because she knows this is her only chance to talk to him.
Literally. And in the last chapter, when she like came in on the mirror and Crow had already kind of like disintegrated to the point where he couldn't speak anymore, like, and he said like, damn, I can't even tell her the last thing I wanted to tell her because I don't even have vocal cords anymore or whatever.
Yep.
Like, hold on, what did he say? He said, oh, he's thinking to himself like, Minerva, I can see you one last time in the mirror. There are so many things I want to tell you, but I have no voice left to speak them. Before I knew that he was going to get rewound, I was like, no, let him say the shit, and I was like, obviously I didn't know that he was going to be rewound, so I was like, damn, that is such a sad way to go out, like, but at least she gets to see him, and then he got rewound, and we get 45 seconds here, and I was like, oh my god, thank God, and that is just like so beautiful in the writing for this last 45 seconds for them to share.
And then the first word outside of "hear my final words" is Madoka. Like, he was like, I need to tell you what I want our baby's name to be, and that is his main focus, and he explains why.
Yeah, bro. And isn't Madoka, like, hold on a
The
second.
Magical Girl series?
Yeah, Madoka. I remember Madoka Magica. Does Madoka actually translate to wish in Japanese?
I don't know.
Let me see. Wait, the name
Let's
Madoka is of Japanese origin, primarily
commonly means
circle, round, or roundness.
circle, round, gentle, or peace is what I was seeing.
Okay, so then Crow used or Osamu Nishi used Madoka in the context of the story of Ichi the Witch as a word from an ancient language. An ancient language to mean something else, even though that is an actual Japanese word that does mean something in our reality. Okay, interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is just such a beautiful way to, bring it back for this final conversation where they can say, their last farewells.
Yeah.
And just immediately moving into how that impacts not just Minnie and Chrono, but also I forget her name. Shirabadana? No, not Shirabadana.
Yeah. Or wait, no.
Shirabadana is the
the analytical witch.
Yeah. Why can I?
Wait, why am I blanking on that? Wait, it's like right at the tip of my brain, bro. Wait.
Yeah, same.
Prophecy
We are just
Witch.
bad with names tonight.
Yeah, Prophecy Witch, Ichi the Witch. Shikijirone.
Yeah, there we go.
But
But
I remembered that
her,
before Google told me because it doesn't even say when you, it doesn't even say her name when you search what I just searched. So I win.
but
All right.
her, you got Gokuraku, Ichi, and even starts with a K.
Kamugi.
God, no, not Kamugi. It actually didn't show Kamugi. I don't think.
Wait,
No, it didn't. It didn't show Kamugi at all.
wait, where are you talking about?
I don't know what page this is. Uh, the squid octopus guy,
Yeah,
Kizashi. There you go.
Kizashi, yeah, Octobomb.
Yeah, but it even shows like his reaction and him breaking down to it, and he's trying to like rationalize it, but obviously he doesn't get too far before he gets impaled.
Yeah, that was fucking crazy. But I love this fucking splash page, bro. Like, on page 8, I'd existed for countless centuries before we met, but it's the time I spent with you that I consider my life? Nigga.
Right?
That's so fucking beautiful, bro. That's so
That man
romantic and
got Riz.
amazing. Yeah, no, seriously, like Riz game on 50 million for that. That was such a bar, bro. Holy fuck. Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
your life with me. God damn, bro. This is such a beautiful exit for Chrono's character. Ugh.
man. They really know how to tug at the heartstrings in this series.
No, seriously. And like girl mangaka are just gonna know how to do this shit better than guy mangaka, honestly. Like
Yeah,
I really felt that shit in this dialogue, bro, and in this sequence, man, like in a way that I like don't normally feel shonen romance or shonen love in
you
general.
you are absolutely right. Because
Yeah,
even like just looking back at Full Metal Alchemist,
yeah.
that shit will get you in the feels too.
On God, bro. They just get it. Our heads are too meaty.
I live for this shit.
Even if we're talented writers, like we're still dudes. Like this isn't like an
Yeah,
area that we really, are gonna specialize in a lot of the time. Not saying it's impossible. I'm sure there's plenty of great male romance writers, but I don't know. Anyways, this shit
they
slapped.
ain't doing it like this.
They ain't doing it like this, at least in my experience. But we love you, Crow. We love you too, Crow, now and forever. He fucking shatters into Roblox, and the fucking all art, whole page, multiple panel reaction from Minerva is just so well drawn and so well presented.
They let you really linger on the feelings, and I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah, man.
Before immediately stabbing Kazashi in the chest, and then dude getting stabbed in the back of the neck, the face, the
Yeah, yeah.
face.
The front,
Love it.
the bridge of the nose. But honestly, like
Ooh.
multiple characters, like there's like no dialogue for there's no dialogue for one for the page where Chrono finally dies. One, two, three,
Yeah,
four. For 4 pages straight, it's just a non-verbal reaction from multiple characters. You have Ichi, which is very in character for him to have the blade in front of him and kind of like bowing to Chrono as like a send off. That's very Hunter-esque. I want to say that's
yeah,
very in line with how Ichi would react to something like this. You have Goku Raku. I almost called him Bakugami. Ugh. But you have you have Goku Raku kind of like on one knee, a very like royal approach to showing respects. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's like the prince of an
yeah.
entire country and whatnot. So just like so much attention paid to exactly how characters would react to something like this, given their backgrounds, is just a very good detail to include.
I So looking at the panel with Jika Sharon, I feel like she's angry here, but I think this is like a Doctor Strange moment where she knew this was the only outcome for Minnie and the baby to survive.
Oh shit! She always knew this was gonna happen, and is just mad that that it did
It had to
because
happen
it had to
anyways.
happen anyways. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, no, seriously, that probably is exactly what it is, and and if that is the case, that's such a good drawing of the like facial recognition and
The
just like
emotions
just like the
she's
emotion she's feeling given that circumstance. I can read exactly what you just said on her face right now.
yeah.
God
It,
damn.
it just masterfully done. And then
And then
one
Kizashi's
thing that I
reaction
didn't,
too, like Kiyashi's like, damn, this nigga's gone, and it's my fault.
yeah,
Fuck, bro. He got a really big panel for his reaction too.
and he's still like, even though he acknowledges that it's his fault, he's still trying to like rationalize it, and like it's not his fault, but he doesn't get a chance to actually fully come to that conclusion.
Yeah, because Butler nigga like comes and stabs him, but like it's still, from what is this Butler dude's name again? The world hater
I don't remember
dude.
at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah. But like I think that he properly did come to the conclusion that he came to. Like it's clear to me that you've lost all will to kill humans, even though this nigga didn't outright say like I'm never gonna kill a human being again. Like you could see that he was clearly going there. Like his mind and his heart was swaying to the side of humanity, in a major way that was very very obvious. And even though like I don't even think he's actually saying any of this shit, he's just thinking it. So that means that like just off vibes and like the way that Kizashi looked as he was reacting to this Butler dude kind of came to the perfect conclusion on exactly what his psyche was saying and what his mind and heart were kind of coming to the conclusion of, which is a pretty insane perceptive feat, I want to say, for a character in general. Because like if all you can see
Well,
is like yeah.
I think part of what he was saying was out loud. Like, obviously, anything that wasn't in a bubble was in his mind. The ones that are clear thought bubbles were in his mind, but
Hmm.
everything else he was saying out loud,
Yeah, I just don't
because
see
they
a
kind of
tail
fit the
tying it
same.
to him.
Well, they kind of fit the same format as "I wish I was gone too," and then he pops out and says, "Your wish is my command."
Oh,
So
you're
it kind of
so
implies
right.
he
You're
heard
so
that.
right. You're so right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the very least, we know that. Oh well, maybe everything in like the Squid Ink dialogue bubbles is said out
He was
loud.
saying out loud, yeah.
I was super super sad when Darty died. I couldn't take being that sad again, so I put a lid on my feelings. I told myself over and over again that it was the weakling's fault. Doing those things made the sad go away. I wish I was gone too. Or wait, no, we have other ones here now. The lid doesn't work. The words don't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I guess it's easier for him to come to, but still, he didn't outright say like
Yeah, no, he didn't.
anything like that. You know what I mean? But he's still just like, yeah,
It
you're too
was
far gone. You're not coming back from this. You're gonna be a human. You're gonna be on the human side after this. I can tell.
Yeah, we don't need you being acquired or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't want you to
But one
become
thing I
a weapon.
didn't notice though
Yeah.
is when Discaris goes to stab him in the forehead, the panel has a reflection of her eye, and I didn't even notice that. It's on her sword.
Oh shit. Yeah, it totally is, isn't it? Wait. Yeah, because I couldn't really make out exactly what was going on in that panel before she stabs him in the forehead in the double page spread.
Yeah.
But that is totally it, isn't it? Yeah. Because like
I,
I see the butler dude's like face behind the sword.
well, he came out of the portal, and then you can
Right.
see the zombie come out of the portal behind him.
That's right.
Discaris cuts through it and then pops out of the portal, and he
Oh,
turns
okay.
around, and then she stabs him in the forehead.
Yeah, so my dumbass is thinking that like this panel with her eye reflection in it is like after she's already stabbed him in the forehead. So I thought
Oh
that
no, no.
yeah, this is just her like pulling the sword out before she stabs him. Yeah, and just like showing her eye in it. That's really cool. I thought
Yeah,
that for some reason it was like, the sword was acting as a panel break and there was like multiple panels happening in that right panel, but no, it's just yeah, I see it. I see it.
I love how all of these zombies are following her through the portal,
Right.
and I need like a flashback to see what happened from her point of view,
100%.
because it'll definitely go more into her relationship with her brother and her
Mm,
coming to terms with it.
right. Yeah, definitely. Need that. We'll
Ichi the
probably
Witch
get
is so
that.
good.
It is so good. We'll probably get that flashback at the beginning of the next chapter.
Yeah, but most likely.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else for Ichi. That was a banger, though.
Nah, yeah, it was, but that's it for me as well.
All right, that'll do it for Ichi the Witch, chapter 72. 72nd hunt, even 1 moment longer. Now moving into Kagurabachi, chapter 113.
113.
Rock. How do you feel, Trav?
Oh man, so this was what we've been asking for quite a long time. We're moving back in time to kind of see how everything got here. And so this chapter mainly focuses on, I wouldn't say the politics, but just explaining what happened and the involvement in achieving or acquiring the Datsenseki.
Yeah.
And so that obviously makes for a very interesting chapter because it's a lot of information we've been asking for a while.
Yeah, and it
The
is pretty
part,
geopolitical because it is like major parties in the world, deciding like not necessarily on like a governmental level, but like these are like people that are making like really big decisions in the movement or in the things that would eventually move the plot in the direction that we've been following for the entire time. You know what I mean? Like this is like
yeah,
the catalyst for pretty much all of the conflict in the story so far. And it's interesting to see the characters involved and get their insight and their decision making and their thought process on how to move given the circumstances at hand and everything. Like this is like a perfectly timed arc after such a big, cinematic, fucking grandiose like battle arc basically that ended with everyone losing, honestly. And this is something that I feel like we're seeing a lot more in the modern shonen is story arcs that end with a less than ideal conclusion. You know what I mean? You have the Shibuya incident inside of Jujutsu Kaisen. Now you have this last arc of Kagurabachi that ended with the Swordmaster winning, basically, killing Samura, making everybody retreat, taking over Japan.
breaking in 10.
Breaking N10, yeah, like everything is in shambles right now. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of refreshing to see that arcs like these are starting to become a little bit more frequent because I feel like these are really important arcs to have if you're telling like a really big story with like really big character arcs that and really big plot progressions. Like you definitely need to have like a huge moment of loss, especially if you're trying to keep the stakes up in the story and keep the tension there. So
Yeah. And, we get introduced to this additional faction of assassins that came from the island. And this one, like, face shot,
what
like,
page?
shadowy face shot, the eyes kind of look like Chihiro's.
Oh, you're talking about on page
I
5?
don't know. This
Yeah.
thing doesn't tell me pages.
Oh,
2, 3, yeah, 5.
okay.
It kind of looks like Chihiro's eyes.
Yeah,
I
a
mean,
little bit.
obviously it's not Chihiro,
Right.
but what if they're like descendants from this island?
Hmm. Okay, so wait a minute. That'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah, and like we know they're apparently super powered beings, maybe at least stronger than sorcerers, since they say, this guy who charged them 200 million lost an arm. At
Hmm.
first, I thought he got his head split open, but that's just a hat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So they're relatively strong. Apparently, we're assuming they know how to use the Datsenseki as well. But most likely, everyone on that island was wiped out by
The
the
malediction.
malediction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if there are any leftover like remnants of their people, I wonder if we'll be meeting them after this flashback. Um,
I think this
or
flashback is gonna put us right on that island for at least a decent stretch of the flashback storytelling, so that we can just get that side of things on the ground level in that culture. I think that would be
yeah,
huge if we're going to be focusing on the
definitely.
Seitei War as an arc, as a flashback arc. I think you absolutely need to put the camera directly in the middle of these villages on this island and actually show the people and what they're like on a cultural level, because it's going to make the malediction hit that much harder when we finally get to the end of this storytelling if we have some kind of more of an emotional stake in the characters that the malediction wiped out.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that the enchanted blades are going to be what allows them to enter the force field. So we probably still have some more time to spend with Rokuhira, learning, how he crafted the blades and whatnot.
That's honestly what I'm most excited about is that if we're focusing on the Seitei War as a flashback arc, where it's going to be heavily Rokuhira focused, and we're going to see
Yeah.
pretty much everything that we've always wanted to see about him and his character since the beginning of the series, and that is probably the most exciting element to explore for me when it comes to this arc.
Yeah, and I saw someone point something out, but I do want to bring it up. So when he's Soga is talking, or Shiba, my bad, is talking to everyone, and he's trying to get them to call Rokuhira to, look at the Datanseki, and they're like, "This guy is a low life weapons dealer." And then I'll skip ahead here, but you go down to the spread of Rokuhira, and his eyes are much more like serious. They're not as soft as Chihiro's.
Oh, sure.
So maybe there's a lot that neither we or Chihiro knew about his father.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And this arc's gonna give us all of that.
I'm ready for it.
I love I love the introduction of Shiba just into the room smoking a cigarette, ashing his cigarette at the same time as the other dude, like, "Yo, what's up? You done talking?" He's like, "Oh, what the fuck? Who are you? What? Get him!" And then he teleports he teleports away, and he's gone on the bottom panel of page 11. But then 12, the way that it's kind of delivered compositionally is that there's a panel above that obviously shows a completely different area outside where he teleported the goons, but it's also like above the panel that shows, Shiba sitting back down on the couch. And so like it's just cool how it's like, yes, they're above us in relation to where Shiba is. And then it shows that, but in a completely different location outside of the room, but it still just like flows perfectly visually to represent that, like, he teleported them into the sky and they're falling down. It's just like, it's just so well done. It's like conceptually the idea of presenting it this way is really cool to me. But
I made a joke on Twitter, like, this is why Shiba didn't try to help with Soga, because the only skill he has is teleporting people in the air, so he gets hard countered by people who can fly.
Literally. I'm sure he has
He's like,
other,
nope.
yeah. I know he has other ways to fight.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
he just hasn't. We've been put in a situation where he has to do that. Like,
why
I'm sure.
Throw hands when you can just
drop niggas,
teleport people into the sky and drop them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
shit's funny as hell. But another thing here is that the dialogue from this guy when Shiba shows up, he's like, the Soga clan's guardian.
Yep.
So Shiba used to work for the Swordmaster. Yeah.
That's what it looks like. I mean, we know that, Soga is Chihiro's uncle, and at least you could assume that Soga and Rokuhiro were close at one point, which would explain why the Soga clan's guardian would be close with him as well.
Right.
So yeah,
that's just
that's just an interesting fact.
Yeah, and in hindsight, it definitely makes sense because we knew before this chapter that Soga and Rokuhiro were really close. We already knew that. So we could also assume that since Shiba and Rokuhiro were close before everything hit the fan, that like we could have drawn this connection like already. But like it's actually seeing the writing say the Soga clan's guardian had me like, damn. So now I'm wondering, like, I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't really get a whole lot of interaction between Shiba and Soga in the last arc. Obviously, because Shiba was busy teleporting everyone to safety, but we didn't get like a whole lot of internal like thought monologue, from Shiba in relation to Soga. We didn't really get anything about that from Soga either. you know, even though they were really close
Well,
and they saw each other, you know what I mean? Like, to get like barely any writing at all about their relationship from either character is interesting, and obviously done for a reason. But
I'm kind of glad they didn't
right,
though.
right, because now we get it
Yeah,
here.
because like going into this flashback, we'll see how everyone kind of fell apart and what happens between Shiba and Soga, so that when it gets out of the flashback, it would make more sense for them to converse there with the information we have
True, but there could have been like, you know,
instead
really,
of, the implied connection of Shiba.
yeah. But there still could have been, you know, sneaky, you know, subtextual dialogue between them that implies, you know, a past relationship in the previous arc, you know, or at least some kind of, you know, you don't have to give it all away, but like through like, you know, vague dialogue that has subtext added to it that we won't get the context for until an arc like this, you definitely could have injected some of that either, you know, in Soga's mind with internal thought dialogue on his end or Shiba's. So the decision to not do that, I feel like, is, you know, it's not like game breaking or anything like that, or whatever. It's not like a problem, but I just think that
Yeah.
that would have been something that would have been cool to include as like a way to build up, you know, interest in their relationship before we actually get the flashback. But just a minor. It's not even a gripe. It's
Yeah.
just like oh, they could have done that but didn't, and it's not a big deal because we're getting it now type shit.
Yeah, it was one of two ways. You could either like hint at it beforehand and then explain it to make people go back and read, or you could
Yeah,
just do the flashback, explain it, and then have their interaction.
yeah,
So there is no need to go back.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just always team like make me go back and reread it for some reason. You know what I mean? Like I'm always I love storytelling like that.
Yeah, that's
Where
fair.
yeah, where it's like, you know, you
A ranger.
new info comes out that has you like, wait, this was a thing, and then you go back and see the breadcrumbs for it on the reread. Best feeling ever. Best feeling ever. But
Yeah.
anyways, I know that Yato is extremely excited about fucking sword forger Chihiro like situation.
Yep.
Yeah, because he's been saying for a while now that Chihiro is going to be on this exact type of shit, and the N10 breaking and him having to repair it is like the perfect catalyst for his character to like re-enter this aspect, of his character that we always knew about from the very beginning. Because like when he was talking about it
Yeah.
before, when you know when Yato first brought up the idea that Chihiro was going to get back in that forge and bang that hammer, he was talking about like building like a new sword for some reason, you know, and I think is the way that he kind of originally proposed that, is that like no, Chihiro's going to make like the ultimate anti bad guy sword eventually, and that's gonna like, you know, be like the apex of his character arc or something like that. But like the N10 breaking and him having to go in and repair it, I think hits a lot harder, honestly, because especially now that we know that the N10 was created already, we got new information that the N10 was already created to do that thing. So yeah, it just all feels really good.
Yeah. So two weeks ago, me and Yato kind of talked about it, but let me hear your thoughts. When it shows him, getting ready to craft a new sword, he has the pieces left over of Inten and Cloud Gouger.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to mix them into one sword, or is he going to create two new swords?
Fuck, dude. I think I didn't even think about the idea of him making two new swords. I think he definitely just fuses them, doesn't he? Good question, though.
That's what I was thinking about,
Yeah.
but it would be cool, if he just like well, it wouldn't really make sense because we've never seen him train with two swords, so it would feel like it would be kind of nerfing him to switch up his style. So
Yeah.
I do think that mixing them into one sword would make more sense.
So then he does technically make a new sword, but it's just going to have like all of the attributes of both, maybe. And maybe he
Yeah.
doesn't have double the abilities, but like the N10s, you know what, the N10 was created to defeat the Shinichi. Like that
Yeah.
was Rokuhira's like last thing. He's like, yo, the Shinichi's fucked up. I need to make a sword that can directly combat that. And this is a sword meant for destroying the other enchanted blades. So like this new sword, even if it does include pieces of Cloud Gouger, is still going to have that effect. or that attribute tied to it, I think. But I'm wondering how the Cloud Gouger, because like, okay, I think there's two ways that this can go. Either he combines both swords together, and now he has double the abilities, all the abilities N10 had, and all of the abilities that Cloud Gouger had, and can tap into any of them at any time, which would be insanely broken and crazy, but also not as broken as the Shinuchi still, so it doesn't make it overpowered, or, you know what I mean. But it's either that, or the abilities are going to like work like together at the same time. You know what I mean?
Like they fuse into something different.
Yeah, where like basically like you have like Cloud Gouger's abilities augmenting N10's original abilities in ways to where it's not like he has like, you know, 6 abilities now between Cloud Gouger and N10, but still the same 3 abilities that N10 had, but with like a Cloud Gouger like funk on them. You know what I mean?
Oh, I was thinking more like it's an evolution. So he no longer has his original skills. He just has some kind of combination between Inten and Cloud Gouger that evolves into a new thing.
Oh, sure. Because I was thinking about it the way that, like, okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, even though this fucking game ended up being a scam, Ashes of Creation was, like, an MMORPG that I was really excited about throughout its development. And the way that its, like, class system kind of worked is that you chose an initial class at the beginning of the game, and then after, like, 15 levels, you get to add, like, a second class to it to create, like, your job or whatever. And, like, let's say that the fighter, let's say you chose the fighter class at the beginning, and then at level 15 you added like black mage, and that was like your second class to create, you know, the fighter slash black mage like job. So like an example of how the abilities would be augmented would be like, you know how like fighters in MMORPGs always have like a dash. Yeah, they always have some kind of like gap closing dash tactic to get them in close so that they can hit you with sword attacks, where if you augmented that ability with the black mage class into your new job, that dash would then become a teleport instead. You know what I mean? So it's like you're not getting all of the abilities of the fighter separate from all of the abilities of the black mage and able to use them, you know, individually whenever you want. You're getting black mage infused fighter techniques. And that's kind of like where I was going with the Cloud Gouger and the N10 combining their abilities in some kind of way where it's still everything that the N10 can do, but with, you know, Cloud Gouger accents to a certain degree. And I don't know like I don't know how that would work, but like that's just like kind of what I had pictured at first. That was long-winded, but I hope I made sense.
Yeah, I think it's either no, you did, because I think it's either that way or the way I described it. Because, you know, one of the like hard rules of the Enchanted Blades, except for the Shinuchi, is they have 3 abilities.
Right.
So it's either going to be, you know, enhanced N10 with Cloud Gouger, or a fusion of the two that creates 3 new abilities rather than just having access to all 6.
Yeah, you're totally right. It is those 2 possibilities, absolutely. Oh, I can't wait
Unless
to see.
he just crafts the Cloud Gouger again.
Yeah, he could
in which
be that
case
too.
He would just be using 2 enchanted swords.
I really don't think it's gonna be all that, but I mean, I guess we can't throw the idea out of the window.
I don't either. That's fair.
Yeah. But
I think Yato was on the side of 2 swords.
Oh, really?
I'd have to go back.
What a fucking idiot! No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Oh, goddamn.
I'm joking.
A rude?
He's not here. He can't hurt me yet.
I'm gonna tell him. I'm a snitch.
No. I mean, he's gonna watch the episode anyway. But until then, fuck that nigga. Nah, but
oh, you never gonna hear the end of it.
I know. Incredible chapter though. Holy fuck. People were comparing this chapter to Naruto. I think I remember on the timeline. I think I saw like 3 or 4 Naruto comparisons from like different accounts. not like 3 or 4 separate Naruto comparisons, but like 3 or 4 different accounts making the same comparison to Naruto with going into this flashback arc after
Right.
the last big arc or whatever. Like, this is exactly what Naruto did.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and it's like fine, but I mean, I feel like there's just like so many more things to talk about than that. But I mean, anime Twitter is gonna anime Twitter.
I mean,
Like
to be
if
fair,
you can
though,
find a comparison with another
Naruto has
series,
been out for a very long time.
that's true. But it's just like a chapter can have so much going for it. But
Yeah.
as soon as anime Twitter sees something in a chapter that they can then compare to another series, that's gonna be all that we talk about for a week instead of like any other substance in the chapter. Those are gonna be like the biggest tweets with the most interaction.
And it's always the big
and
three fans.
Yeah, and it's just like that's gonna be like the focus of the discussion in the community for a week. You might have like, you know, some smaller account over here going into, you know, Shiba Soga connection, or, you know, the potential of, you know, the new Enchanted Blades or whatever that's gonna get like 40 fucking likes, but all of the biggest fucking tweets with the most engagement are gonna be like, they did the Naruto thing, and it's like, dude, fuck you guys.
Can I put out a statement real quick? Can we stop having like this war between Kagurabachi and Ichi the Witch?
What?
They are both goats that exist in their own realm.
That's a
Yeah,
thing?
the fan bases have been attacking each other for whatever reason.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm like kind of like not on Twitter that much anymore because I had no idea this was happening.
It'd be annoying the hell out of me. I'm like, they're both great series. Can y'all just stop?
No, literally.
Like, I remember they were like arguing about which one would get an anime first, and I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Ugh. Just people arguing to argue for whatever reason.
No, seriously. That's like all they're here for. They care more about the act of arguing with other people than they will ever will about these stories.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure.
Sad shit.
Stop it.
Literally. Get some
Get
help.
help.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I have for Kagurabachi though this week. You got anything else?
Nah, that's it for me.
All right, that's going to do it for Kagurabachi chapter 113, Rock. All right, getting into the final chapter of the night, Jujutsu Kaisen 3, Modulo, chapter 24, A Ray of Hope, or? And great color page. Iwasaki.
Wait, why'd you say Jujutsu Kaisen 3?
Because it's Jujutsu Kaisen 3.
Since when? Where was Jujutsu Kaisen 2?
Jujutsu Kaisen 2 was Jujutsu Kaisen.
No, Jujutsu Kaisen was Jujutsu Kaisen 1.
Jujutsu Kaisen 0, or Tokyo Metropolitan Magic Technical School, was Jujutsu Kaisen 1.
No, that was 0.
I know, but that's why there's a 3 next to Jujutsu Kaisen on this color page.
Is that a 3?
Hell yeah, it is.
That just looks like 3 lines to me.
Yeah, how many?
The 3? But
Oh,
that doesn't mean 3.
no, we've talked about this before. That's like the numbering that they are like using now. Is that Jujutsu Kaisen 0 was 1, Jujutsu Kaisen was 2, and Modulo is 3. Yeah,
You're right.
I swear it's a thing.
Yeah, I'm looking back through the other chapters and I'm seeing the same thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, shit crazy. But anyway, color page busting, Iwasaki in the bag. Art was never an issue in this.
Nope.
Yeah, this color page is very beautiful. Very, I love like the warm colors in the foreground with the cool colors in the background, and the
It makes them feel otherworldly.
literally, yeah, transcendental. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot
I
going
alone
on.
am the honored one.
Type shit. But yeah, man, fucking, how are you feeling about the developments in these last couple of chapters that we're getting for this? Like, we always knew it was going to be a short story, so like all of the
Yeah.
pacing issues that people are talking about, I don't necessarily resonate a whole lot with those criticisms and those complaints. At the end of the day, like, obviously we want more Gege Akutami Jujutsu Kaisen storytelling, so like knowing that it's ending, it just feels, you know, icky for people who just like want to see the continuation of this story. But we did always know it was only going to be a couple volumes, so you know, something pacing like this towards the end after the major conflict is kind of expected, I want to say.
it just feels like there's so much that's being left out, and me and Yato talked about this because there's like gaps in time that
There
aren't
are.
necessarily explained.
That's right.
You have two characters in two different places, and then they're all together in one place, and then like Deborah was fighting Maharaga,
Last we
and
seen
then
him.
he's just in Africa, and
Yeah.
then he's being sent, or and then he's with oh oh, I am brain farting so hard right now. I know
Mm-hmm.
your name. It starts with an M.
What?
I'll get there. Hold on.
What?
Hold on. What's your name? Come on.
Deborah?
No, not Deborah. No,
Wait,
not
You said
Deborah.
Deborah is with this character?
Maru. Maru.
Oh, Marulu?
Yeah,
Yeah, nigga.
Maru.
Damn.
Yeah, so like it's I feel like people are being teleported around,
Yeah.
and I think what would really help with a lot of the pacing complaints is if they showed like the teleportation in process, even
Yeah.
just a panel with like teleportation lines or something would
Yeah.
just make it feel so much
Showing
better.
showing Maru, or grab the character to bring them to him in some capacity would definitely help out a lot with that. I'm not saying that the pacing issues or the pacing criticisms are not valid. I just don't I just personally don't care as much as I feel like other people do. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, yeah.
it is definitely jarring to know that the last time that we saw Deborah was inside of his domain expansion attacking Maharaga. But like, is it kind of implied that his domain would destroy Maharaga? I think so. So like, do we really need to see
No,
Maharaga
no.
disintegrate into a mass of light or whatever? Like, probably not. You know
So
what I mean?
someone actually explained it in the comments, the last video. Basically, if Deborah would have lost, obviously Yuka would have died.
Hmm.
But what they did here was when he was teleported away, the distance canceled out the fight with Maharaga, and so
Yeah,
Maharaga just disappeared.
just dissipated. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
it
it
was just
interrupted the
there's
ritual
that
enough for her to come out of like a
one
suspended
panel.
state of death. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like one panel could have really helped explain that all.
Yeah. Okay. So he didn't destroy Maharaga.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay. He
the
just.
ritual just stopped.
Oh, okay. That's even better then. Like either way though, because you're right. If he would have destroyed Maharaga, then Yuka would have just immediately died, right?
Uh,
Or wait, no, because that's not what happened to
no,
Megumi.
no.
Yeah, that's not what happened to Megumi when Sukuna fought Maharaga, because Megumi was in like a
If
suspended state of death during the fight too. And
if Deborah would have died, then it would have been Yuka's turn.
or wait a minute, didn't Sukuna heal Megumi before he started fighting Maharaga in some
Uh,
kind of way? I remember him like touching Megumi before he engaged Maharaga and was like, "Don't die yet, I need you," for something. And he like kind of like hit him with some like reverse curse technique is what it looked like. Um, I'd have to go back and look at
I
it.
I think he threw him out of the range of the ritual, so it was just between Sukuna and Maharaga.
Now I gotta go fucking look, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, or the comments will tell you either one.
Yeah, but I can't wait for that.
All right.
So that's got to be around chapter 100. So let's start at 100.
While
Okay.
you are looking for that, though,
Yeah.
everyone gets revived, brought back to life. It's all happy go lucky. I like how Maru tells Sarugi, or Sarugi says, "Should we go home?" And then Maru says, "Definitely." So it's like they are officially neighbors now, which is great.
Yeah.
And then you get this expansion on Deborah's story where he's going back to his homeworld, and him and his sister are taking over, like just destroying this old gigolo. I don't know what you want to call
Yeah. Okay, so 117. Maharaga goes to kill Shigemo Haruta, and Sukuna teleports in, grabs Shigemo, and brings him over to Megumi, who just got bapped in the brainstem by fucking Maharaga and slammed into that fucking wall. Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, and then he hits him with some reverse curse technique and says, "Don't die. There's something I need you to do." So he does kind of
Oh,
like heal him a little bit. All right, and then he says,
okay.
"Just stay here." Talking to Shigemo, he's like, "Just stay there. In order to keep Fushiguro alive, I need to defeat the Shikigami, even though I'm an outsider." So wait a minute, that's a completely different circumstance than Dabura, because Dabura is actually the target of Maharaga in the
Well,
ritual, isn't he?
no, because when Maharaga is summoned, his inherent target
Is
is the
Yuka?
summoner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, so Dabura is an outsider technically too, but Maharaga is just going to attack anyone in close proximity.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So then Sukuna destroys Maharaga, and then that cancels out the ritual. But Megumi doesn't die after because he was healed with reverse curse technique from Sukuna. In which case, yeah, Yuka didn't get healed in any kind of capacity. So even if Dabura destroyed Maharaga, because she wasn't healed first and taken out of that suspended state of death, after he destroyed Maharaga, Yuka would just die automatically. But because
I
but because Maharaga or because Dabura was teleported out of range of Maharaga, the ritual just like canceled, and then Yuka lived because Maharaga was never destroyed. Or was she
maybe
just healed
Yuka was already dead.
and was just healed by Harmony?
Yeah.
Okay, by Maru's technique. Okay. Yeah, no, hey, commenters definitely hit us in the comments with your interpretation or like the correct any corrections or whatever to kind of get us all on the same page on that, cuz that is I am very confused to say the least about exactly how this kind of went down, knowing the rules of the ritual that we've had so far. So,
Look, we ain't no broken Ronin. JJK
yeah.
ain't our expertise.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, he heals everyone, which is crazy because I remember people talking about how Gege like always kills off like female characters that he writes, that he like builds up to be important and then just kills them. And then as soon as
Yeah.
we found out that she had cancer, they were like, Gege's at it again, but she lived this time. So so look at that. But I don't know. Are people?
Yeah.
I feel like people would be complaining about everyone being healed.
I'm pretty sure there were some people
Yeah, I didn't really see
complaining. They were
anything.
calling it like a Mickey Mouse ass series.
Disney Kaisen,
Yeah.
yeah,
Pretty sure I
yeah,
saw that.
yeah. That's too bad.
But we got Deborah back on his home world. He overthrew and now he's the chief, and then was like, "Yeah, I'm not good with the politics stuff, so do what you want."
Yeah, which is just like so good because it's like
Yeah.
seeing him sit there like, all right, I'm the chief now, and first we're gonna bury Dura and enshrine him as the hero, and then um, what are we gonna do after that? Actually, nothing. I'm gonna quit after that, and then y'all could just do whatever. And it's like, yes, yes, so good.
Oh, man. And then I'm
All of this
guessing
color of the
the
soul stuff with the Rumelians and the Kalians and curse spirits and whatnot, like this shit was fucking smoking my brain, bro. I'm like, I
it was
think I,
smoking
yeah,
mine and Yato's too. It
I,
wasn't just you.
I think I get it. You know what I mean? Like enough after this chapter, because like ultimately at the end of the day, like Maru and Cross's curse techniques like directly interfere with like the laws of physics and manipulate them. Like they're like, reality warpers at the end of the day. And if they're
Yeah.
using that ability in tandem with specific soul manipulation inside of idol transfiguration from Mahito, then but like where does Yuji come in? What the fuck did
Well,
Yuji
so
do?
Yuji's it was his cursed energy along with Yuta's, I think. Or no,
Yu's.
no, he was the balance. He was the example of the color of soul of a sorcerer or a human.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because then you had Mahito as the cursed spirit. Then you had, what was its name? The dog as the Callion,
Okay,
and
okay.
then Maru as the,
Rumelian or
yeah.
Cimmerian or whatever.
So there was one of each there for them to see and adjust the colors of their souls.
Okay, okay, hold on. We here now. All right, I see that. But then this conversation that they're kind of having in this council, there's one problem: we couldn't scatter the colors of cursed spirits, Callians, and Rumelians separately. So any Rumelians or Callians who are born in the future will have different colored souls. Callians may
Yeah,
not
it
recognize.
basically, yeah.
Shit
So
is frying me.
okay, so with the story up to this point in Modulo, we knew that the Rumelians and the Callians, they had a good relationship. They didn't attack each other, and that's because they shared the same color souls. But with the change they made, the Rumelians and the Callians no longer have the same color soul, which means that the Callians will most likely attack the Rumelians of the future generation.
Okay,
Basically, the current people, their souls were untouched, but anyone born new will have the different color. So, why, let's say Maru had a child and they ran across the Callian wouldn't attack Maru, but it would attack his child.
okay, got you. Hmm.
And because they see Callians as like, uh, I guess, having religious significance to Remelians, they are worried about having to kill or fight the Callians.
Okay, I think I'm here. I think I'm with you.
Yeah, my brain's still smoking, but
Yeah,
I got a grasp of it.
I think you did it.
I
Okay.
I am genuinely curious though what Itadori is doing going to see Panda. Like, I'm sure there's only like one or two chapters left. What are we doing?
I don't know, because like Panda is like a pretty interesting soul situation inside of Jujutsu Kaisen 2, because the way that Yaga kind of used his ability to, take three different souls and kind of like put them into a container to have them observe each other over time to then like develop its own ego and have
Yeah,
self-sustaining cursed energy as if it was its own person is
but it's also similar to a cursed spirit.
true, true enough. So like maybe that is going to have some kind of like expository, like writing or dialogue to kind of help fill in any remaining gaps in how this whole kind of plan like kind of works. I have no idea, but that could be like the
Is
really
it?
the only thing that I'm thinking that they might talk about, considering Panda's a pretty unique soul situation too.
I am curious though because it looks like they're probably in one of the major houses or the three family storerooms. So why is Panda locked in there?
Is he locked in there or is he in there by
Uh,
choice?
I don't know.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I guess we'll have to find out in their conversation.
I need it.
I know, right? I know, fuck.
Gigi be putting me through the works. My brain's on fire, but I'm also anxiously waiting for the next chapter.
Yeah, it can be so complicated in like the writing of exactly how these phenomena or these techniques like work and how they work together and whatnot. But like I have never felt like Gege himself did not know the answer. So even if it is kind of hard to grasp, I think that there is still like a logical through line that connects everything and makes them make sense. And that works towards like the whole verisimilitude of the series in general. It's something I've always respected about Jujutsu Kaisen, is that things are presented in like a less he takes like a less academic approach, I want to say, than like Togashi does when he's explaining the way abilities work with Nen inside of Jujutsu Kaisen. But the level of like complexity is like similar in Jujutsu Kaisen, even though Gege takes like a more vague approach to the way that he explains how everything works. But it still feels like it makes enough sense, and that there actually is, logical consistency in the narrative when it comes to this stuff, to where even if I don't get it right away, eventually I will come to the conclusion that it is that it does make sense and that all of the parts kind of like work together like gears to produce a certain thing, and that it's not just random happenings because the story needs them to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't think I have anything else for this chapter.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a very wordy chapter, but I think we really touched on everything to touch on here.
Okay, so you're good too then.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, well, that's going to do it for Jujutsu Kaisen 3 Modulo, Chapter 24, A Ray of Hope. Or? All right, so before we get out of here, of course, we got to do Chapter of the Week. Traffy, what was yours?
Ooh. Ichi the Witch. It's got to be Ichi the Witch.
Witch. Hell yeah. Let me think,
Yeah,
though.
it was just.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was such a beautiful chapter to me. And the only thing that I would say really competed with it was Kagurabachi and Centuria.
Yeah.
Centuria, I don't think it quite did enough to get the top spot. Kagurabachi was so close, but just the emotional pull Ichi had, I had to take it.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I think that is. I think that's the order, too. I think it goes Ichi the Witch, Kagurabachi, Centuria.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ichi, easy sweep. I'm sure Yato would agree as well. Yato, if you're listening and you had a different chapter of the week, let us know in the comments, okay?
Or don't.
Or don't.
No,
but
I'm
you
just
should
kidding,
if you're not a bitch. But yeah. But yeah, that's gonna do it for chapter of the week. Ichi sweep. Let's go. All right, let's take a look at some of these comments from the last episode. I was not on the last episode, so some of these comments, all of these comments really, I haven't really seen yet. But this one from Lucia Farul 5740 seems to be like a pretty big comment. I do agree that the jumps were too abrupt and would have benefited from in between panels, but the general questions are well explained. So this is a Modulo comment. Miguel said in Jujutsu Kaisen 0 that it took his tribe decades to weave black rope, and Tengen said in Jujutsu Kaisen that Gojo destroyed it. However, Modulo takes place 70 years afterwards, so there was enough time to make more. Great point. During the cultural exchange, Usami said that they can undo the curse on Dabura's sister using the black rope that's in Africa, but in the same day, Cross got shot and diplomacy fell off. We also had Maru mention black rope in chapter 14, and how there's no time to go to Africa and take it. We knew that Dabura's sister is on Earth. We saw her alongside Dabura in Chapter 9 when they went to the Rumelians and made the spaceship. That's also why the black rope was needed, because if her sister returns to Samuria, she will instantly die due to the curse. Okay. Chapter 14 had Tsurugi's and Maru's duel, where Tsurugi pleaded with Maru to take Dabura out to Earth, as that would put him outside the Ten Shadows ritual, so the ritual would be stopped. If Dabura had killed Mahoraga, then Yuka's death would be established. If Mahoraga had killed Dabura, then Yuka's death would have also been established. That's why there was no other option than for Dabura to be transported off of Earth. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Explained our questions.
Thank you very much. Maru didn't randomly heal the others, as his curse technique can't heal in the first place. He gained access to idol transfiguration last chapter, and that's how he was able to heal everybody by reshaping their souls to a healed state or whatever. Okay. On a similar note, getting access to Yucha's ring is what allows him to do such great feats like getting the black rope or sending Dabura to Samuria. Okay. I love that. That's beautiful.
It answered a whole lot of questions we just had.
Shit, it answered like everything.
Don't get me wrong. I read your comment last week. Last week. But in the moment, it was a little hard to remember. I did bring up some of it. Yeah. I tried my best.
Yeah, you did a great job. And Lucia for Rule 5740, thank you so much. That was very in-depth. That was very thorough. That was very comprehensive. And it makes everything feel a lot better. There's obviously going to be like arguments that it could have been explained in the story. That everything happened exactly that way to connect those dots, in writing. But honestly, do I need it? Not really. As long as, the idea is there that connects everything and it makes enough sense, I'm happy with it. But, I'm not going to discount that criticism if someone does have it. But is that something that's necessary for me? Not when I'm this invested in a story and enjoy it as much as I do. In a story that I'm not feeling as much, if crazy things are happening and you need like an outside comment to kind of explain things, then I might be team, you should have put it in the story because I don't care that much about the story. You know what I mean? As like selfish or as biased as that might sound, that's just the way it is. It's about the vibes right now for me, and the vibe is good after a comment like that. So thank you very much. Bloodness X. Modulo definitely needed just one extra volume. I guess Gege didn't fully know that he would lack a couple chapters. I just want a satisfying cinematic ending of Dabura finishing Maharaga. After that, the transition with Yuka would be possible. This almost kind of like, comes into conflict with the previous comment that we read, because like the previous commenter said, Dabura actually finishing Maharaga would have killed Yuka. So we couldn't have got that satisfying cinematic ending unless it was to show, Dabura being pulled out of the fight and teleported away to kind of cancel out the ritual. That definitely also could have been included, but wasn't. So either way, I feel you. One more volume would always be good. I feel like we could say that forever in a story like Jujutsu Kaisen if we just love it that much. Like, just one more volume, like infinitely, because we just don't want the story to end. But
this was kind of in context to a conversation that me and Yato were having about wanting to see Dabura and Maharaga's fight finish.
Yeah.
But my whole thing was like, with the general theme of Modulo, having them finish that fight would kind of break it up a little bit. They spent a lot of time at the beginning focusing on the fact that the newer generation is significantly weaker than Gojo and Yuji, and that's because of the lack of a Gojo-esque like figure.
Right.
And on top of that, if you see Dabura beat Maharaga,
Modulo himself.
Well, if you see him beat Maharaga himself, this then implies that he is either stronger or has more resources than Yuji. Because even at this point, I still don't think Yuji could beat Maharaga. Like, he's strong, but he doesn't have the raw output to destroy Maharaga.
Oh, you don't think so?
The worst he could do is, use his domain expansion and like go on a bike ride with Maharaga and try to be friends with him and hope that Maharaga doesn't adapt to friendship or some shit.
Yeah, which doesn't even really make sense considering that Maharaga is just kind of like a not like a mindless like goon or like a sentry turret or something like that, but it just doesn't have like the cognitive capacity to be seriously affected by Yuji's domain, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Great comment though. Thank you Bloodness X for putting a comment in there and helping us with the algorithm. Let's see. Ikuto4337. Watching the logo change from Cyger Zero to Wolfgang was a nice moment in the chapter. And yeah, Wolfgang is just a menace in that last panel for show. Absolutely couldn't agree more. That was definitely a good moment, seeing the Schwartz-Wolf logo dissipate and the Wolfgang logo materialize on the back of the cape was very hype. Let's see. Hishaku Hideout says, I come for the welcome back babies, but I stay for the conversation. Love that. I'm a stand-in for Yato today. I think I tried to hit the welcome back baby in the beginning of the intro. I'm not the same kind of host as I'm not the same quality of host as Yato. I hope I did a good enough job this week though. But I think I did try to include that in the beginning, so I hope that
you did.
Okay. I hope that was good enough. But yeah, thanks for commenting, you guys. I think that's the last comment that I'm going to read. Keep continuing to comment on the episodes, man. We love reading the comments. We love thinking about what you guys say. Honestly, a lot of what you guys say is a big help for our comprehension of the stories that we read, because there's definitely a lot of things that we're going to miss. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're only human after all. We're not Wikipedias, for these series or anything like that. So you guys coming into the comment section and kind of being a part of the conversation with us is definitely well received and respected, yeah. and we enjoy the shit out of that. Thank you so much. And it helps us with the algorithm so that more people can find us. So
yeah, like we are. This is all like off the top of the head, just yap into yap about these stories.
Yeah,
These aren't like researched and scripted videos
right.
where we could get all of that information straight first go around.
Yeah, yeah. No notes, no nothing. Just vibes. Just off the top of the dome head, bro. And I
Yep.
feel like we have like great conversations, but just knowing that, it is kind of an off the cuff conversation and things are going to be missed, it gives our commenters more to talk about and probably makes them feel a lot more involved in the discussion. So we are all Shonen Pulse. We are Charlie Kirk. No, I'm kidding. But
No. Oh my God. No. Oh.
just kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, man, we're a family. We're a team. Thanks for watching. That's going to do it. I'm just going to go into the outro. Smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button. A-Town stomp all over the comment sections. I'm trying to be Yato again. And yeah, hit the hype button for real. The hype button is so important. You guys got to hit that shit. It helps us out tremendously to get seen by more people. And the bigger the community, the better the conversations will be. And the bigger the channel grows, the more motivation we'll have to improve upon it in a lot of ways, including new lines of content. I don't know. We're definitely going to try to get some guests in here pretty soon. I know Yato was talking about that and working on that. I'm sure that he's been networking in the background to get that going. We have a new approach to collabs that I think he's brought up in an episode where, before the idea was to kind of like get somebody on an episode that can go through each segment with us. So they would have to be caught up in everything that we cover. That's not as realistic as just, grabbing a broken Ronin for the Modulo segment or, a sufferance for the Chainsaw Man segment or something like that. I don't even know like what a lot of these other content creators read like that. Shonen OG I know reads a couple of the things that we're doing like Gachi Akuta. That would be great to have him on here. Axel Blaze reads everything, so we could absolutely have him for a whole episode if we wanted to. Things like that, but that is coming in the future, so stay tuned for that. And then of course,
Also,
yes.
I know we're about 250 subs late, but we are still planning on doing the 1K celebration live stream.
Yes.
We just got to figure out our schedules.
Our schedules are so nightmarish right now, especially on my end. I feel like I am like probably like in the most chaos schedule wise over you and Yato, but things are starting to even out right now. I don't know if you guys know, but like I live in Minneapolis, so a lot of that ice stuff that was going on with the Renee Good and the Alex Petty situation, like that happened like right outside my fucking house, basically, and so that like drastically has like kind of affected in the last like month or two my ability to be on the show. So a lot of that is my bad, but I mean, hey, we all have our own circumstances and things are crazy in the world today, but we are still trying our best to make it happen. Thank you so much for watching. Continue to support us if you're enjoying our content and you like what we're talking about. That's going to do it though for Shonen Pulse episode 53. I'm Knox. Thank you, Traffy, for joining me, of course, my brother. And
Yeah.
and yeah, we'll see y'all in the next episode. Holla.